It's time for the best pubcast around. Grab a cold one, sit back, and enjoy the show. This is Corner Pub Sports.
Hey, this is Brian Dawkins, and you're looking at Corner Pub Sports.
Corner Pub Sports.
Shut your yap.
What is going on, everybody? We are live here today on a Sunday fun day from Nick's Roast Beef on Cotman Avenue. Sean, Ryan, Mike, Gary, and Chris from Drunk Phil's Fans is joining us here as we start off the show here on Sunday. We have a special show today. We are doing a benefit for the Darren Daulton Foundation. We have plenty of items on our table here for raffles. We have 50-50, so if you're going to come down here live, we appreciate it. And, of course, if you're watching on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, we thank you. And if you want to donate, we'll maybe get some information or something. We'll figure something out a little bit later. So
come on down.
Yeah. So, Chris, welcome back, man.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Oh, here you go. Let me work you out. All right. How you doing, man?
Good. How you doing?
Good. Thanks for, being a part of this and actually asking us to be a part of it. And
yeah, thanks for
kind of bringing us in.
Of course, guys. No, this is awesome.
Yeah, this is great. Again, it's Sunday, coming off a
Sunday.
A day,
we're not used to Sunday.
Some bad news last night. We'll get to that in a second, but first we're going to do the good news. So let's talk about the Darren Daulton Foundation and what we're doing today. I don't know if you want to lead us off here, Chris.
Yeah, sure. So we are we have a raffle there's about 10 different items. So Corner Pub Sports, Drunk Phil's Fans, and the Darren Daulton Foundation has donated some items that we're going to be selling raffle tickets for. Buckets in front of each of them, so you can, after you buy the tickets, and we'll pull them off before the end of the Phils versus San Diego game today, which somewhere around 7:00. Figuring baseball goes about 3 hours now.
Mm-hmm.
And 100% of the proceeds from that is getting donated. So 100%, it's all going right back to
Great
Darren
stuff.
Daulton Foundation.
Great stuff.
Yes. Yep.
Absolutely.
Should be awesome. So I didn't not want to mention it, but we have former Philadelphia Phillies Steve Jeltz in the house. Steve Jeltz will be joining us in a few minutes here on the table here, and
Minus the locks.
And minus the locks.
Gary can't get over it. I think he expected him to have the locks. You should have wore a wig or something for him.
Not gonna lie, I kind of did.
He's got his buddy Mike here with him as well. Mike will be joining us as well. So they run a nonprofit. So we'll be talking about that as well. But so before we get to all that, let's talk about the big news today. Bryce Harper, he's going to be out indefinitely. Not good news to wake up to. I had the game on, and I was drinking a lot yesterday, so I passed out. Broken hand. Not good.
Yeah, I woke up to the news. I didn't watch the game because they're on the West Coast, and
it's late.
I drank too much.
Yeah,
it's just a thumb. Spray with Windex, wrap it up, and swing the bat.
But
oh, come on.
I woke up. I
go with his arm that he's swinging the bat with. And
I woke up with the first alert on my phone is that it looks like he's probably out 3 months if he doesn't need surgery.
It's not good.
They don't make the playoffs without Bryce Harper.
No,
Chris, what do you think? Do you think that they have a shot to make? I mean, did you think they had a shot beforehand? And
I mean, I thought they might have had a shot, but I guess you look at the Braves, right? The Braves didn't have Acuna last year, and look what they did. So it's possible. Maybe these guys, it's the little bit of a kick in the butt that they needed that, JT's going to step up, Nick's going to step up.
Yeah.
Then I was looking at Stevenson and Belt, who recently had the same exact injury, broke their thumb. They were out 4 to 8 weeks.
Okay.
So, I mean, we don't know if you need surgery. We don't know if they're going to do the elbow at the same time, or if it even needs it. So, but I'm not giving up.
Yeah, that's actually a good point about Acuna. Because
that's mid September, and it's before the trade deadline. I mean, I know that they're not loaded with prospects, but I mean, they could still make a deal to kind of as a hold me over type thing too.
Well, like you said, Chris, I mean, they're going to bring Mickey Moniak back up to fill the roster spot. I feel they shouldn't have sent him down to begin with, but that's another topic altogether. Maybe he's able to put something together like you've seen in spring training before he broke his wrist. So
Next man up.
It improves
I
your
mean,
defense.
It
I'm
does
so-
because now Castellanos or Schwarber do not have to be in the field.
Yes,
And
yes.
they're subpar, so it does improve the defense.
So
Or
everything
or
else.
Baum or
Castellanos will
JT or
probably-
Hoskins, like you can rotate all those guys
Yeah.
in and keep those guys rested. None of them are good defensively.
And
so,
that was the
yeah.
plan. Like when you sign these guys, but
Yeah.
Castellanos probably more than not is the DH. I guess you put Moniak over there, or the Herrera with Moniak in center,
Or
whatever.
Veerling. Yeah, I don't know
Right.
what they're
Yeah.
kind of planning. I guess we'll see when we see the lineup today.
Dave Peterson on our chat board just said rumors are that it's going to be season ending. So
Wow.
yeah, we'll see.
Oof.
Dave's usually pretty accurate with his stuff.
He
So that's-
is.
I gotta
He's
give
good.
him his credit, man. He
And
does
so
a good
that's 4 years into this contract where you haven't done nothing, and he's
job.
probably
You mean as a team, yeah.
got 2-3 years left in his prime.
Do you think just that? I don't know.
He's
Baseball,
I was thinking a little bit more.
playing baseball a long
Yeah,
time.
but he's
now.
still playing at such a high. I'm gonna give him more than that. I'll say 4 to 5 years. That's what, but still, as the Phillies as they're built, are they? Do you think they're going to be there in 5 years, 4 to 5 years? Who knows?
Right.
They have a lot of pitching prospects coming up and a lot of hope, but we've seen the story before.
Yep.
But for this year, Chris has a good point about Acuna. When he went down last year, you're like, Braves are done. They're finished. It takes you play the game as a team, right? It takes more than one guy. If one guy goes down, someone else has to pick it up. Like you guys said, Nick Castellanos has to pick it up. JT Realmuto has to pick somebody else.
JT's at least picked it up, started to finally pick it up a little
Yeah.
bit. But
He at least looks better at the plate.
Yeah.
But it's going to be on Castellanos.
Yeah.
$100 million guy. He's the guy that's got to pick it up.
Yeah. I mean, it's a shame because early in the season, Castellanos' batting average wasn't bad. He was hitting around 290 for a while. Over the last 6 weeks, it's just been hard. I mean, he's down in 240, something like that now.
But he has admitted that I'm just not right. I
Yeah.
don't know what's wrong. I'm just not right.
Yeah.
We'll get there. Huh?
But I know it's right. I don't know.
You know.
Let's come up with a song.
I do believe he'll come around. He's a career 278 hitter. He had
Well, it's because he lives in
Over
Ben
the-
Simmons' house.
Actually,
that
that's
might have something to do with it.
It's true.
The
true.
The last 3 or 4 years, he's top 3 in extra base hits. He hits for power.
you feel
gotta-
law of averages.
There's an 8-9 year pedigree there with him.
Mhm.
I gotta believe it's going to happen. He didn't forget how to hit.
We need
No.
Sirianno lift that bad juju.
Do the Phillies need to switch to small ball without Harper?
Small ball.
Yeah, yes, they do.
Oh, Steve?
Right?
Steve says yes.
But do they have the players capable of doing it? I don't know if they have the contact hitter. I don't know if they have the guys who can do they have the speed? Schwarber on the base pass, he's not
Just stop shooting for the moon and get on base.
That's today's baseball though.
Right.
It's
Yeah, what do you put at the top of the lineup if you're going to play small ball?
Not Schwarber.
but Segura's
Right,
out.
yeah.
Segura's out right now, right? So
yeah.
And Schwarber's actually looked.
Is Moniak
it's-
fast? I mean,
in today's.
Yeah, I think he,
Yeah,
he could fit that bill. He has to hit and get on, which has been a problem.
right.
yeah, is Modiak going to take enough pitches? At that top spot on the lineup, you need a guy who's going to see some pitches, set up the next guy.
See, that's the problem too. The only guy they got that in the lineup that hits for average is Bryce Harper.
Mhm.
So this is bad
Wait,
on
you don't
so
think-
many levels.
You mean a Double? When Double's batting?
Are you
Oh,
serious?
dummy.
Come on.
Oh, dummy!
Come on. Oh,
Oh,
dummy.
dummy.
Oh, dummy! My
dummy.
hernia.
Come on.
Yeah. It's a shame. He's actually producing somewhat.
He was, yeah.
Yeah.
He was doing okay. I can't cheer for him.
I mean, do we think Hall gets called up? Or
They
Adam-
might have to. I mean, if they go in a week or two tailspin here, that might be the next move. Maybe they consider doing that because you're going to need someone to produce. If they keep seeing these results from these guys who aren't producing, that might be the way. Just spark. Give him a little spark and see what happens. If he doesn't work, he doesn't work. You send him back down.
Yeah.
What's
But
I
not the pessimist point of view, like it might not matter if the pitching doesn't hold up. It doesn't matter.
The pitching has held up though.
The bullpen
The
has.
bullpen. Well, the bullpen's been a problem.
Yesterday it was awesome.
Yes,
I
it
will
was.
say that. That was like 12 up, 12 down.
Right.
Beautiful game. Bellotti looked legit. His slider is an out pitch. And, Sir Anthony, every pitch is an out pitch for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good to have him back. I mean, I just wish that he would have got the surgery earlier. The more that I heard about that, the more that I heard it wasn't really him that was kind of holding back on having the surgery. At first, I thought that he tried to milk it, but the more that I heard about it, he got bad advice.
Mark on the chat room said, "Bring in Rick Vaughn. Bring him in."
Yeah, wild thing. There we go. Bring him in.
We have him. He's left-handed.
You want me to drag him outside and kick the shit out of him?
This isn't the California Penal League.
I had some major league stuff on here, but I took it off because it's not exactly PG. So we're trying to keep it PG today, even though there's no kids in here now. But public place. So
Yeah.
Chris, Drunk Phil's fans, your page. Tell the people while we're early in the show. Tell the people how they can find you.
So it's on just Drunk Phil's fans on Facebook is where you can find, but at Drunk Phil's fans on Twitter, at Drunk Phil's fans on Instagram, and believe it or not, I've actually moved into TikTok, just making some short videos. I have no clue. I have to ask kind of like my daughter how to do it because I have no idea. I'm like mulling around, but it's also at Drunk Phil's fans there.
Yeah, we were actually talking to Mike, who's Steve's partner. We were talking to him a few minutes ago, and he actually suggested that. He goes, "You guys got to do TikTok. You got to do TikTok." I'm like, "All right, we'll think about it." So we'll have to do something. Someone else has to manage. I manage too much, man.
I'll do the TikTok.
All right,
It
you
is
do
what
the
it is.
TikTok. Yeah.
The other
You're gonna
thing,
make
Chris,
it
is
weird. You're gonna make it weird.
Yeah.
Probably.
Everybody invite their dogs.
No dogs.
No red rockets on TikTok.
So, Chris, the other thing is the other reason that you're here is because you got a beer that's on tap here that you guys created, right?
Yeah. So
You got to talk about that a little bit, right? Yeah.
He just drank it, right?
Yeah, so I did. It's called Jam the Batter. It was made in conjunction with Rotunda Brewery, which is based in Hershey and Annville. It's a fruited sour ale with strawberry, pineapple, and mango, and it's at 5.9%. It is on tap today at Nick's, and it's still on tap at Rotunda if you're in the central PA, Annville, and Hershey area. But the cans, they're sold out. So I think they made 65 cases worth of cans, and they sold out within 24 hours. So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. So again, if you're watching the stream, you're in the area, Northeast Philadelphia area, come on out to Cotman Avenue, Nick's Roast Beef, get some Jam the Batter, donate to the Darren Daulton Foundation, meet Steve Jeltz, get a signature, hang out, take pictures with.
Have some great food. You
don't want pictures of Steve, just take pictures with us. Make it a fun afternoon here on a Sunday. So we're having a good time here. I guess we're going to do an abbreviated recap, and then we'll move. We're going to have Steve on and stuff. So we had the Sixers draft this week. The Sixers did not draft a player. They traded Danny Green, and they got a 3-and-D guy, and his name's actually slipping me right now.
It's DeAndre Melton.
Yeah, DeAndre Melton.
Not Milton. Melton.
Not Milton.
So you have Shake
not Milton.
Milton. You have Shake Milton and DeAndre Melton.
DeAndre
Melton's
actually,
probably going to
speaking of
take
names,
Shake's.
Mike sent the text earlier. Who was it? The Thunder? Who drafted the guys with the same names?
Oh, yeah. Was it the Thunder? It was Jalen
Williams.
Jalen Williams, Jaylin, and then Jalen. Both last name Williams. The same team drafted both players.
Jalen Williams, Bugs Bunny, pitching to Bugs Bunny, playing in center field. Bugs Bunny.
When I seen that, I'm like,
yeah.
on the phone, I'm like,
wait a minute. This
like,
no.
So I mean, we're not going to spend much time on this because, I just saw a couple highlights. The guy doesn't.
Yeah, we can talk more about it next week.
Yeah, next week for sure. But what do you guys think about it? Like on the surface?
I think it's great. I think it was a being able to get rid of Danny Green's contract and the $10 million, that they would have had to invest in him, and then the draft pick. Yeah, that's you drafted. You got somebody that's going to be better than who you drafted.
Right.
You got a better rotational
Exactly.
3-and-D guy. You basically got what Danny Green was
But
2
younger.
years ago in a younger version that you might be able to keep and build with. I mean,
he's 24.
Yeah.
This kid's 24.
So
what was Danny Green?
10 points per game. and he's shooting upwards of high 30%
Mhm.
3-point.
Right.
39,
And he
yeah.
seems to be improving with it.
Actually, from the corner, he shoots like over 40 at 3-point range.
That's me in the corner.
So there's your corner threes that Danny Green gave you. He could defend. He could do.
And he could put
he
the
could
ball
do
on the floor a
everything.
little bit.
He could do
I see
everything.
what you did there.
He could do everything
See
a
what you
little
did
bit.
there.
Like he's going to be a good bench piece. I think you got the most value you could have out of this pick.
Yeah, I think it was another good job
Yeah.
by the GM to,
An enhanced Thibault.
Better.
No,
he can
he's
shoot.
better than Thibault. He can shoot.
Thibault can shoot.
Well, he said
And-
an enhanced
that's what I
Bible.
said.
Yeah.
But they do say he steals, like he averages like 2 steals a game, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a
Him and Thibault could
hand the
wreak
neck on
havoc.
the-
Like him and Thibault could kind of be what Thibault and Simmons were a little bit.
On the perimeter defending.
Yeah. So all good things. It saves a little bit of money so that you can start to kind of look in the free agency and kind of work out some things. But anyway, let's not go too deep into this. We got plenty of time to talk about this. Let's move on to another topic and touch on this next week.
Yeah, for sure. We'll definitely get into more next week. Mark Capel. I'm sorry. I know I kind of jumped out here, but I did want to bring up the Mark Capel.
Yeah,
thing.
absolutely. That's a great story.
2013, he was drafted by the Houston Astros. Never sniffed the majors until yesterday. He was called up by the Phillies.
First overall pick.
And Major League Baseball and media and stuff were saying basically he was one of the biggest bust ever. And now he finally got a chance. And he actually quit baseball in 2018. Came back, decided
He had an injury, right?
No, it
No,
was
he
kind
walked
of
away.
he just kind of
said I can't. I'm not.
his head wasn't in it, and then he missed it, and like he needed to kind of clear his head. It seems.
And now he's back, and that's a great story. That's one of the feel good stories you like to hear, and it's good to see, and hopefully he can make an impact if he comes up and does something with them, and that'd be pretty awesome if he can come up. I guess he's in the bullpen. Unless they do a double header or something, maybe.
Well, I think that he actually is a bullpen guy now. Like he was a starting pitcher for a while, and then when he came back as a bullpen guy. So I think that's what his role is going to be now, right?
Yeah, I think he's going to be a long reliever, right?
Because, that makes sense. Right?
I guess they're still with Familia and Alvarado and Bellotti. These are all like 1 inning guys, but there's a spot on the team.
Familia is a no innings guy.
No,
I hope so.
And I'll tell you though, that Alvarado, if he ever figures something out, man.
I love that guy.
You can throw 100 miles per hour, but you can't.
He's going to kill somebody.
You can't pitch. Like if he learns how to pitch, that's going to be a nice weapon to have. He still has chance. He still has time. But yeah, maybe this offseason someone can work with him and get him. Learn location, learn how to use your pitches instead of just throwing as hard as you can. It doesn't always. Steve's like, yeah, absolutely. It just. And
same
that's
thing as that launch angle, right, Steve?
And we're going to get into it. I mean, Steve. So for those who haven't met Steve yet, Steve can talk, and he's going to go off on this. I know he is when he comes up here.
Actually, let's get him
we're
up
gonna-
here. Come on.
Are we ready
we'll
to get him
Steve.
up here?
So hold on, just 1 second. So I'm going to do through the beers, and then we'll get Steve up.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right? But yeah, so but that whole thing, come up through the ranks and teaching the launch angles and just throw as hard as you can. You can see it's not working.
Well, think about Eflin. Like they were like, pitch the high strike, pitch the high strike, pitch the high strike, and he was getting roped. And now he's like, I'm not doing that. I'm going to throw low.
Screw you guys. I'm doing what I do best.
Screw you guys. I'm going home.
Like just get a little bit of control. 102 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Like, just get a little bit of control.
Ranger Suarez, I was very surprised at his last outing, but he's normally someone who is like, it seems like you don't know if he had a great game or a bad game. He's always like the same, but recently him and the umpires, like him just kind of like making the faces at the umpires, stomping around. He's not going to get borderline calls doing that.
Not.
He's got to stop that. And it's been like ugly the past 2 outings.
And it's almost the same thing as like the Alec Baum thing. Like if you learn how to control your emotions, like I'm still high on Baum because I feel like if he learns to control his emotions, things will get easier. I think he makes it harder on himself because he gets so fired up about things. I think Ranger Suarez is on that same. Just calm down.
Yep.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. He's so young. We're so impatient as a society with sport, everything. We're just impatient in general.
Yeah.
Like these things take time. You don't just learn how to play at that level. Some guys do. But
Just
the majority of
shut your damn mouth and get on base.
Shut your yap.
shut your yap.
Shut your yap.
The
I
new
think
John
as Phillies
Tortella.
fans, we see the other
Just get on
NL
base.
East teams bringing up these young guys, and they're succeeding. And like, we don't have that. We have not had that for a while. Like the guy that just comes in that's 19, 20, 21, we don't have it.
Rollins and Utley, they were the last
That
one.
was it.
Yeah.
So I guess that's part of the frustration is, even when you think back to Howard was sitting in AAA, AA because Tomey was here blocking him.
Well, apparently
You know?
they signed Tomey because he couldn't field a ground ball. That's why he stayed down so long. And he wound up. It hurt him because he came up he didn't come up till he was like 25.
Yeah.
25. Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, the other thing is
All
we
he
had the
did
new
was win
ballpark. I
Rookie
mean,
of the
we
Year
know
and
the
MVP
story.
the next year. That's all.
He
Yeah,
had
we
58 home
we know the
runs.
story. I mean, they had to get people in the seats right away. They weren't going to get some rookie in the new ballpark and stuff.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, we're having a little bit of trouble with the drunk Phils fan signs. It looks like a drunk Phils fan may have put it up.
No surprise there.
All right, so let's do While You Were Drunk, and then we'll bring Steve up. Here we go.
I am not drunk, man. You're trying to make me drunk.
It's time to catch up on some things you may have missed
Do you think a six
Oh,
pack is
shit.
acceptable?
while you were drunk.
I'm drunk and I love cats. What more do you need to know?
So Ohtani this week has had an amazing 2-day stretch. I mean, he's been amazing since he's come in the league. But listen to this list. Players who have never had an 8 RBI game. Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, Barry Bonds, Albert Pujols. Players who never had a 13 strikeout game. Pitchers. Lefty Grove, Catfish Hunter, Jack Morris, Tom Glavine. Ohtani did both in consecutive days.
It's crazy.
That is insane.
It's nuts.
We are watching a generational talent.
Yep.
And the crazy thing is he's in LA with the Angels and
They
he's
stink.
playing with Trout and he's got Rendon and like
He doesn't have Rendon anymore. Rendon's out for the year.
well, all right, but they signed Rendon. Like they have all these high priced guys in LA. You never really hear about them, and they never like. How is this possible that they're not succeeding?
Sounds familiar.
Wow,
a little bit, doesn't it?
The truth hurts. All right,
a little bit.
But if you got a name like Catfish Hunter, you don't got to do all that. Your name says enough. Catfish Hunter. Catfish Hunter. You're hunting catfish.
What does that even mean? All right. But I just want to bring that up. I thought that was interesting. Some sad news this week. I don't know the cause of death, but Tony Saragusa, longtime Ravens lineman. He worked for Fox on the broadcast team, died at the age of 55 this week. That was kind of a shocker.
Yeah, I mean, from everywhere, all around good guy, underrated player. From
I loved him, man.
Yeah,
It was hard not to like Goose, man. I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say,
I don't like
yeah, he was great as a sideline guy.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
He was in Sopranos.
Yes,
he was
he
in
was in
Sopranos,
Sopranos.
right?
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
It's
Yes, it is. I'm trying to stay with the PG soundboard tonight because most of our soundboard is not. So I'm just
too many onions in the sauce.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a shame to hear about Tony Saragusa. So best wishes to him and his family as they go through this tough time. And finally, and while you were drunk, I hate my face recognition on my phone. Oh yeah, this is the most important story of the week.
well, it's an ugly mug, so I can understand why you did.
Yeah. Oh, that's not nice. The Philadelphia Stars are in the USFL championship.
Oh, really?
How come there's no Stars banners? Like, how come there's no
S-T-A-R-S, Stars.
Is that a
playoffs? Playoffs.
That's true. Good more, yeah.
You ever have a gal suggest that you need some attentions paid to your buttholes?
I don't know what that means, but I guess that's where we're at. I haven't watched a single USFL game this year.
I watched a half.
Yeah,
I watched a half.
I didn't even know they were still playing.
Yeah, I watched a half.
It stinks.
does it? I haven't seen it.
No, it's all right. It's not the NFL. It's not, but you get football in the summertime. It's all right.
Where do they play these games at?
They're all being played in stadium in Tennessee.
It's the end of June.
So wait a
It's got to be
second.
98 degrees there.
So there's teams from all different cities being represented, but all the games are played in one stadium. That
Sounds
but
like a
why?
house league. You know, when you
Yeah,
go up
like-
and you're you
Sounds
know,
like what? I'm sorry.
like a house league when you're playing t-ball, and it's like, we're the
Yeah,
red
the-
shirts, we're the greens, we're
So
the
you might have a
Man down.
you may
We lost the drunk Phil's fans on
So
again.
the USFL is the in-house league of professional football.
Yeah,
It's a tournament.
So there'll be like a double header.
It's a tournament.
You know, there'll be like a double header on like a Saturday. There's like 40 people in the stands.
Yeah, I was during the Sixers playoffs. I went down to Xfinity Live down at the stadiums, and I was meeting up with Mark Drumheller of the Fourth and Go and Fox the Gambler. And we're watching. He goes, "Oh, I got like $50 on this." I'm like, "On the Sixers? No, on the USFL game." I'm like, "What?" And I'm looking up at the TV, and there's like 4 people in the stands. I'm like, "You're like degenerate. Like, are you kidding me? You're betting on this? It's crazy." So
It's like, look at the odds.
yeah, but the odds just spoke to me. I'm like, dude, he's still like.
And then
tweeting.
Sean's like, all right, here we go.
You know,
I'm going up too.
You know, there's fantasy leagues.
Yeah.
The USFL fantasy leagues.
I almost thought I was this close to starting one.
I was thinking about it. I was probably on the same train with you, but I can't name one player in the league.
No, well, I
Didn't
know
he
one.
hate me in the league?
No, I
Oh,
know
wait,
one.
that was from a while
No, the
ago.
one,
XFL.
McGlynn. Mike McGlynn is in it.
Oh, and so is
former Penn State.
Yeah.
yeah. So
Okay.
is their quarterback for the Stars. Actually, he's it's a no name.
John Starback.
Yeah.
Roger
See you
Starback.
next Tuesday, Jones.
See you, there it is.
You suck
know.
football league because you couldn't make it in the NFL.
I don't know.
You suck football.
All right, so that was that's why you were drunk. I think it's time we bring up.
Yeah, I think I'm going to get myself a Jam the Batter. So
There you go.
Yeah, Steve could take my
So,
spot.
Mr. Steve Jeltz, come on up, man. Former Philadelphia Philly, joining us live and in person. Yeah, do you want to? Yeah, we got to get you up here too. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, come on, come over here. Okay, Chris, sit down. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, welcome aboard. Welcome on Corner Putt Sports. Oh, Mike's joining us too. What's going on, guys?
How's it going, man?
Good. So, first of all, Mike and Steve, I don't know if your headphones are going to reach. Yeah,
I can hear fine.
Okay. It's a little tight. Yeah, because the wire here.
Oh, that's the only way you don't need that.
Yeah, that's it. First of all, you guys had a 2-hour drive. We thank you so much for coming out and coming out and being a part of this. And this is an all-day event. We're a little disgruntled by the turnout so far. Hopefully, more people come out, but it's going to be an all-day event. So we'll see what happens as we go on. But yeah, we thank you guys so much for coming out today. So thank you.
No worries.
And then thank you so much for helping us out and being a part of this. And but why don't you tell us about the Darren Daulton Foundation and what everything's about?
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having us on. It's a great partnership with the Phil's Drunk Fans group. And so Darren Daulton Foundation started in 2013 after Darren was diagnosed, unfortunately, with glioblastoma, which is basically a life-threatening brain cancer. And we started the foundation because Darren had, been so beloved by the Philadelphia fans and the community. And it was a way for Darren to give back to so many people who supported him over his playing career. So what we do at the foundation is we have a application criteria. If you have a confirmed medical diagnosis of a brain tumor and you can't afford your daily living expenses, then the foundation is here to help with those expenses. And we do about 5 or 6.
That's
Thank you. Do about 5 or 6
awesome.
major fundraisers a year, including our big golf event at Huntington Valley Country Club on Columbus Day, Monday, October 10th.
Huh.
And last year we had 225 golfers. We had 27 holes. We had 25 current and former Phillies, including this knucklehead to my left, come out. And it's been great. And on our board is John Crook, Mickey Morandini, Danny Jackson, Don Carmen, Andrew Knapp. And recently we put Jim Eisenreich on the board.
Oh, man.
So, we just do great things.
Oh,
and
that's
it's great support of
incredible.
Darren's teammates and friends.
So if I may ask, the golf tournament is Columbus Day, October. That's right around the corner from my house.
Okay.
What are the details? Is it private or can anyone kind of go in?
So just go to www.darrendaultonfoundation.org. We don't take singles, so we ask that you get a foursome. Right now we're in the corporate foursome stage. A corporate foursome is $2,500. You can also pay an extra $500 to golf with a celebrity like Steve Jeltz. And then ultimately, after we get through the corporate, selling the corporate foursomes, we'll open it up to what we call the regular foursomes, which is $1,500. And, that might sound like a lot of money, but you get a lot of value for what we bring. We have 97.5 broadcasting live at the event. We have the morning kickoff with Mike Missinelli. We have a helicopter drop of a cool 50-50 raffle. We have the lunch throughout the day on the course, and we have spirits on the course. And then afterwards, we have a great happy hour, live and silent auction, and then we have a dinner. So it's a full day. It's a long day. But last year, we raised over $125,000.
Wow, that's awesome.
Incredible.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I might being down the street, and I'm always looking for an excuse to golf. I might have to hit you up on that.
We're
So
gonna see you there for sure.
Yeah, I'd love to see you there.
that'd be fun. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great day. And the day before, because all the players are in town, we do celebrity bartending at the live casino. So that's at 1 o'clock that day. The Eagles play at 4 o'clock. So that's Sunday, October 9th. And the players will, wear their playing jerseys, tell stories, take photographs, gives autographs. And it's just a great way to introduce the golf tournament the next day.
Oh, that's awesome. Congratulations. That's great. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
So Steve and Mike, thank you guys so much for coming on and coming out. Yeah, absolutely. And you guys work together. You do a nonprofit. And we'll get into the stories and stuff. I just want to cover the basics first.
Let's get that done,
so go for it.
Michael Lebo.
So recently we started Primal Sports Charities, and our goal is to do counseling and therapy at no cost to all student athletes within Pennsylvania. So master's students in college provide therapy to meet their degree requirements. So we're now working with the universities to partner the master's students with the high school students to provide therapy and counseling, all at no cost to any high school kid.
That's awesome.
So
And it's a multi-sports facility we're opening. And I always tell people, if my dad had to pay $2,000 for me to play baseball, I probably wouldn't have played. So, there's a lot of opportunity out there we're going to the top with this one. We're getting the best coaches. We'll do coaches clinics. We're going to train them how to play the game the way it's meant to be played. We talked about that earlier. I was fortunate and blessed enough to be able to play with all Hall of Famers at 24 years old, with my infield being Pete Rose, Mike Schmidt, and Joe Morgan. First pitcher I played behind was lefty when I started. He told me, get your rest tonight, rookie. You're starting behind me. So, and then I have Gary Maddox and Matthews, and I can go on and on. Tug McGraw, Darren Daulton, and I came up together from Kansas, and so we've been together long before anybody knew who we were. And so it's just about giving these kids an opportunity to be good young people and use sports as an avenue to better their lives. It's not because they're not all going to be in the big leagues or in the NFL or in the NBA, but on that road, on the way to those spots, when you're trying to do that, you're trying to get their mindset correct, so they know how to be good Christian young men and women. So that's what we're trying to do.
That's awesome. So where can they find? You guys have a website and stuff?
Yeah, it's primalsportscharities.org, and you can find all our information on there. So we're in the early stages now. You can't go on and sign up for any of the classes yet, therapy, counseling, but within the next month or so, our scheduling should be up. And really, when the universities kick back off and all the master students then need to get back enrolled. So this fall, come September time, we'll be up 100% running.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations, guys. Good luck with it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I just want to say one more thing. It's just remarkable to me how somebody like, Steve Jeltz, who had such an amazing playing career and has those stories that he could tell you about, his journey through the Philadelphia Phillies organization. But to be here today, to drive the 2 hours that he drove, he comes to all of our events. He's here today to support you guys. He would give you the shirt off his back. And that's the one thing that I was so struck by, both during Darren's playing career, and I was Darren's lawyer for 25 years. So I spent a lot of time with Darren. And then after Darren was diagnosed, and obviously after his death, so many people have such good hearts. Steve Jeltz has an amazing good heart. And all the people that we've surrounded ourselves with in the Phillies organization have just an outpouring of love and support for people like you and for people like our organizations and this organization, Primal Sports. It's just all about giving back to the community. So big round of applause to Steven and what he's doing.
Thank you, Brett.
Bless people whenever you can.
Yep.
You have to.
Exactly. I say it all the time. Brett, You've been a joy and a blessing to all of us. I mean, and I didn't know that you were Darren's attorney for so many years, but maybe we can talk you into being our attorney for Primal Sports too, because we definitely need it.
I've already given my business card out.
All right, perfect. There we go. All
yeah,
right.
I'll waive the retainer.
All right. See, God always has a plan. He puts us together for a reason. Thanks, Fred.
Well, while we're talking about Darren, like I don't know if you've had any personal story. I got to meet Darren a few times, but the best story I have with Darren, we're down in Clearwater. He was working at it as a bullpen coach for the Rays at the time, and I was probably 20, 21. I had a black Phillies hat on, and he was jogging along Clearwater Beach. And my grandfather used to have a condo, so it was kind of a private beach. There's no bathroom, so if you live there, you were on that beach. He was running down. Like, look at the size of this. Like, who is this? And I'm like, oh my God, that's Darren Daulton, right? And he comes running over us. And I was going to say, hey, Dutch. He looked at me and goes, that's an awesome hat. And I was like, Dutch. He's like, you want a picture? I'm like, absolutely. So I got a picture with him. And the funny thing is, like, he has a shirt off. He's all sweaty, right? And I'm pretty thin. The size difference between him and I was insane. I'm like, I'm embarrassed to show people this picture of how big he is. I'm like, oh my God. And then another time I got to meet him before a game. He was kind of walking along and said hi. And I showed him the picture and I remember you, So it was both times he was just extremely pleasant. And he was one of my favorite players growing up. And
yeah. Darren's awesome. I love him. We came up together. Like I said, before anybody knew us, he'd come up from Ark City, Kansas, and we'd go to University of Kansas where I played baseball, and we'd work out. I had carte blanche there. They let us come in and work out, and then we'd drive down to spring training. We had take this Toyota Supra and the Trans Am and take off for Florida. So we'd take that 24-hour ride. But, we came up and we came through the times before all the big stuff's happening and everybody knew who we were, and we had a good time, but we worked hard, and I think some of that's been lost over time. I think, that work ethic, because we have so many analytics and we have so many ways to do things now. And it I think we need to go back to the foundation. Like, I was blessed, like I said, to play with Hall of Famers. So, you got Pete Rose on your team, Charlie Hustle. That's how you play the game. And that shouldn't be lost. And I think, if we get back to that foundation, I think, as a Philly fan now, not only alumni, but a fan, I love to see that and see these guys working hard and going hard. So that's what's important.
I learning from the best. I don't know how you can learn from any better than what you had around you. That's absolutely incredible. I mean, especially Dutch was such a leader, right? Like on and off the field. He was such a, just his aura, comes in the locker room and just, you better, straighten up. Yeah.
It's funny because Darren and I we used to run baseball games. I tell my shortstops and my catchers all the time. Michael was a catcher. So his dad, Mike Lebo Sr., played with the Toronto Blue Jays and the Yankees. He started that nonprofit years ago, and then Michael was the first player on that team, with that team, so with that organization. But Darren and I used to run ball games. I mean, he would look at me and I'd look at him, and we communicated, and we kind of knew each other for so long, and we knew what we were doing. I tell my pitchers and tell my catchers and middle infielders, I said, you guys communicate. You guys run this game. You got to tell third baseman what's coming. You got to tell the first baseman what's coming because they can't see the pitchers and the outfielders as well. So your job is going that game inside the game, going on what's going on. And Darren I loved it when he was catching because he worked the whole team. He handled the pitchers well. He did everything well. So that's a blessing.
We had because he had the locks.
I think I have one of his old pictures. I got to pull it up.
Oh, that's
Keep
awesome.
Going.
So we had Dykstra on with us a few times, and Dykstra's a character in itself, but he had nothing but amazing things to say about Darren and how much of a leader he was, and just how like Dykstra was, I think, outspoken as well, but he knew when to stop. He knew, when Darren said something, just quiet down, listen to what he's saying. He was the captain of the team. So,
right.
So when you were coming up with him, was he kind of the same way? Like, was he kind of or was he still kind of feeling his oats and trying to?
Yeah, Darren was a year, but I think he was one behind me. We'd go down, and I came to big leagues before he did. I think he might have got an invite in September or something. And then we were there about
September of '83.
Yeah, okay.
83, is that what it was? Wow.
We both came in at the same time. I think he came from he came from AA to there.
Yes,
he had to
that's
because
right.
I was in AAA and he wasn't with us in Portland. So that's when Darren and I got to come back together. We didn't play together all year, and then we come back together when we come to the big leagues in September. So that's how we came back together.
Wow.
Yep. So we had I mean, it's been a lot of years with Darren. I mean, we like I said, we kind of gelled and we kind of thought the same, and like the work ethic. I was a football player. So was he, and then that's how I trained to play football. I mean, you had to do a lot. There's a lot that goes into football and getting your body ready to take those blows. And so, I mean, we trained that way growing up, and that's the way we trained going to spring training.
Do you have a lot of good nights with Darren?
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah. You got the PG.
No, we'll stream that on satellite radio. I got to tell you my favorite Darren story, because yours kind of brought back some memories. But you mentioned Lenny, and that's my favorite story with Darren was in 1994. Just coming out of the '93 World Series, and we're at the old Striped Bass restaurant down in on Walnut Street, and Darren and I were out for a late lunch, and we're just sitting there at 3:00 in the afternoon ordering some lunch, and a girl comes up to the table. She goes, "Oh my God, Mr. Daulton, you're my favorite athlete. I have your rookie card in my purse. Can I have your autograph?" He says, "Yeah, sure, give it to me." So he takes it out. What's your name? Lisa. To Lisa, love Darren. Without missing a beat, Darren says, "Hey, Lisa, you want my friend Lenny Dykstra's?" And he points to me. She goes, "Lenny, can I have your autograph?" No way. I signed it Lenny Dykstra.
Oh, that's awesome.
Now she's listening to you and she's looking for you.
She knew Darren. She obviously didn't know Lenny.
Oh, that's fantastic. That's awesome. On the same card too.
Same card.
Oh.
And I keep looking on eBay. It's not
That's what
there.
I was just going to say.
I'll
That's
recognize
awesome.
the signature.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
So, so Mike, your dad played ball as well, right?
Yeah, he was. He was a 1-1 draft pick by the Blue Jays in, I want to say 79. Wow. Was with the Blue Jays for 5-6 years, and then went on with the Yankees. Won a AAA World Series with them. Yeah, my grandpa played with Jackie Robinson with the Brooklyn Dodgers for 2 years in spring training. So baseball runs deep in the blood for sure.
It does. I came to Carlisle, Pennsylvania, and I met Mike through my father was military, and I was at a yard sale or something with my family when we first moved there. And I met a lieutenant colonel, and we started talking. By the time I got back to my house, my phone was ringing with a 717 number, and I had no idea didn't know anybody. So I answered it, and I must have just met somebody at the yard sale, and it was his dad. And he said, "Little birdie told me you were in the neighborhood." And I said, "Yeah, who's this?" And he said, "Mike Lebo." And I said, "Mike Lebo that used to play with Toronto?" Well, I remember Mike because I used to steal bases back in the day, and he was a catcher. So, that whole thing. He said, "Jeltz, they opened me with, I mean, they welcomed me with open arms. And I mean, it's been a family thing from that point on. And that's why we're starting this organization." But Mike Lebo probably is one of the best catching instructors I ever met in my life and had the pleasure of working with. And we work with a lot of kids. So, I'm just really proud to know them. And I thank them once again for allowing me to be a part of this. So, we're pulling it together, and we all have the same thought, and that's to do something for these kids and try to get them mentally ready for this world. This world's a mess. How come we can't? I mean, I grew up working on dairy farming, hunting and fishing, and these kids now have that internet, and it's taking them away from what is important, And so, I mean, with God's love spreading around, I think we'll be better.
Yeah, I'm having a battle. I have a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. My 6-year-old does not want to go outside. He just wants to play video games, and I'm like, all of us. I mean, we're all around the same age. That's all you did was play outside, play on the bikes, play baseball, like whatever. Like that's all we wanted to do. Well, you did other things. We don't want to hear your stories. So, yeah, Kensington. Yeah, you guys weren't riding bikes. You were stealing them, right?
Hey, you just keep this PG.
Wow, rough crowd.
Yeah. Tough crowd.
No, they were.
That's
yeah, probably. Yeah, look for that on eBay. You can find that.
Yes.
But they're good people. They're good people. But But Mike, so like you also played as well, right?
Yeah, I played pro ball down in Australia. Played college at Millersville. And then once I got back from Australia, I started coaching at Penn State Mont Alto. So we're with the
Awesome.
USCAA conference right outside of Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. Just went to this was my 4th season, and lost 1 year to COVID, but we've been to the World Series every year, won our conference this year.
It's awesome.
So yeah, we're really kind of turning the program around, doing
It's
good
awesome.
things.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
That's great. It's great stuff, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's all for the love of the game, and I don't know. Baseball's brought me so many blessings. I've got to travel the world through it. So now, I'm going to try to give back to as many kids as I can, and the best way I know how to do that is through sports and through baseball.
There's nothing better, right? Like
Yeah.
like I I guess my kid's 6. I did t-ball. Mike's daughter also played baseball as well this year for the first time, and like just doing and again they're doing coach pitch, and they're doing if you don't hit it, they put the ball on the tee. But just being a part of that and showing them run through the base and do this and do that, the little things like that. It was so awesome. It made me feel good, and I enjoyed doing it. I actually unfortunately missed the last 3 because I ended up getting hit with COVID, but I was a little upset about that. I was more upset than he was. I wanted to be there for them, for the kids, for the last game. But yeah, giving back, just it means a lot.
Yeah,
so
it does.
there's Gary's daughter got a game ball last week. So
Nice.
yeah,
Alright.
so yeah, but they went in the championship for that. Oh, that's all. Oh, that's awesome. Congrats, dude. I didn't know that. So, Chris, I know you have some questions for Steve, so I'm gonna get to one of these other guys up to give them a turn.
Yeah,
So yeah, go for it.
Steve, I was just like, your time at the vet. What is something that is interesting about being at the vet? We hear about behind the scenes. There was rats as big as raccoons. Was there anything you remember about someone who worked at the vet who maybe wasn't a Phillies player? Some interesting story about the vet itself, or your memories of the vet.
I think one of the first memory I had, I was in Portland, Oregon, got called up. So you fly back from Portland, that's that all-nighter, and we had a Sunday day game, and I'm sitting on the bench and I'm watching the game, and like I said, all these guys that I mentioned, these are all Hall of Famers. We're talking Pete and Mike and Joe and Gary Maddox and Matthews and Steve Carlton, Tug McGraw, all these guys, and I'm just kind of watching the game, and Smitty comes up, and this is Philadelphia. Okay, so Smitty comes up, and I think there was 2 guys on with 2 outs or something, and Smitty pops up to the catcher, and I listened to the fans boo Mike Schmidt, and I remember they turned around. I remember the managers, everybody there turned around and looked at me and said, "Welcome to Philadelphia, kid." And then he said, "Go to third base." And so
What have you
Smitty
done for me lately?
Yeah. Smitty comes out of the game, and I gotta say, Smitty handled himself so well. Just imagine the pressure that you have on you. And he was my third baseman for 3 or 4 years. And I watch him go through 6, 7 ice packs every night. And after each game, and get up every day, and he stayed there. And then when he felt like he couldn't give his level of the game to the Philadelphia Phillies is when he retired in San Diego, and that was heartbreaking. But we had a great time together, and I went to third base that day, and I'm thinking these fans don't know me, and they just booed Mike Schmidt, and that's just Philly fans. You boo because you didn't see what you wanted to see, and then we didn't make it. But that's nothing personal. You guys are knowledgeable of the game, and you love the game, and you want to win. I don't know what's going on with the analytics and the launch angles and all that stuff, and pitchers throwing and not pitching and things that are happening in the game today. I say, but they say, well, the fans want to see home runs, and I say, well, I grew up with the Philly organization, and my take on the Philadelphia Philly fans is they don't care if you hit home runs; they want to see W's. They want to see you win ball games. If you win ball games, go to the World Series, and didn't hit a home run all year, they don't care.
Just work
hard. They want to see you win. They want to see you working hard. They want to see you win ball games. And I think that's what's most important. And that's what I get back from what I try to give back, what I learned from those guys that I played with at 24 years old. You know, I'm still here. God's blessed me to be here. I had the brain surgery in 2003. Same thing. I did mine was non-cancerous, but you know, you lay on that table and get your skull cut open. It's a life-changing experience, to put it mildly. But I went to third base that day. We were playing the Cubs, and everybody on the Cubs knew who I was. Manny Trio was there then. Wow. Bobby Denier. These guys are coming up to the plate and they're looking down there and they know it's my first day. And they're all looking down there. You know, I got 3 balls. And, you know, I threw every one of them out. And I'll tell you what, I wasn't nervous when I went out there. You know, not at all. I mean, they just booed Mike, but you know, I listened to him cheer Mike for a lot of years. So, you know, I mean, that just happens. That's our mentality here in Philadelphia. And I say our because I am a Philly. I went to Kansas City and played, and it just like I didn't fit. The Phillies call it like it is. Philly fans call it like it is. They just want you to go hard, work hard, and play hard. And they want to see W's. And you know, we need to get away from too much of the hype thing, and let's go back to the basics and play the game the way it was meant to be played.
Steve, that's at 700 level where the fans, Phillies Franks, have got free tickets.
Oh yeah.
But they're still cursing if you don't.
Oh yeah, they're on you. They don't care.
Yeah.
And
I went to many Phillies games with the tickets.
Fine hot dog.
I'm telling you,
many of Phillies.
And you know, it's funny. It's funny because I can tell you like rain delays. Oh my Lord. You guys that come to these rain delays, you know, after a 2-hour rain delay and we're starting the 4th inning at 11 o'clock at night, you know who's there?
We're still there.
You're still there.
Yeah.
And you know the funniest part about that, I'll tell you a quick one on that one. So I come up to the plate and I'm getting in the box and when the stadium's empty, you hear every single word. You know, when the stadium's full, people be yelling at you, you don't hear it. But when the stadium's empty, it echoes through that whole stadium, and it is clear. So I walk up to the plate, and this guy hollers out, "Jeltz, you suck!" and I had to stop. The catcher started laughing, the umpire started laughing, and I stepped out. They said, "Man, you gonna be all right." And I'm laughing. I said, "Man, he paid to be here. Bless his heart." I said, "We just go out here and play this game." But you know, it's those are the times that you just remember. You know, little things like that. I mean, of course, 200 home run game and all that stuff. Those are memories. But just the basic stuff and the appreciation that I had for playing in Philadelphia. I mean, I loved it, and it was such a blessing. I thank you guys for having me here, and Brett, thank you for bringing me in. And I mean, you know, every time I come back, I start driving through Philadelphia, coming over here, man. I just get this feeling. It's like it's fantastic. You know, I'd love to be able to help them out and do what I can do. If they ask, I'll help. But, you know, at the end of the day, this is just, you know, I love being here and I love what you guys gave to me. It's like my dad was Command Sergeant Major and he had zero tolerance for nonsense. And so, you know, that's how Philly fans are. And people say it's hard to play in Philadelphia, and I didn't find it hard at all. I had fun. You know, I mean, I told you the story about diving in the 8th inning with 2 outs and a man on second base, and we're down by 6 or 7 or 8 runs or something. And I didn't think anything of it. Yeah, I'm playing until it's over. And I dive deep in the hole, can't throw anybody out. Next guy pops up, no runs scored. Pitcher didn't get his ERA going through the roof for 1 inning. And the fans cheered me. And that day when I made those 3 outs, my first appearance, I wasn't nervous going out, but I was shaking coming off the field. I mean, the cheers and the roars on that 3rd out when I threw the guy out at first base on that 3rd out, this roar went right through me. And that was when I felt where I was at. Before that, I was playing the game and I was looking at the home plate, and I'm playing the same game, just got a lot of people watching. And then when I made that last out, man, it was like they didn't know who I was, and all of a sudden, man, they were like, okay, this one's going to work. And so, I mean, they really welcomed me.
Steve, do you remember a game in '89 where you got the last out by the hidden ball trick and you got Gary Carter? Like, it was the only time in baseball history that the last out was made by a hidden ball trick.
Yeah, I took some stuff on that one. But, you know, I mean, like I say, you know, I get paid to get outs, and Philly fans were glad the game was over too. Weren't you guys all glad that it was over?
Yeah. I wasn't upset about
it. Was a W.
I'm telling you, they're getting ready to bring in a pinch runner. He's the tie and run, and God, we called him Doug Harvey was the umpire at second base. He was the only one in that stadium that seen me do what I did, and he was watching, and he was just kind of sitting back, and Gary was tipping his hat. It was a league leading double or something, and so he was tipping his hat, and I'm thinking he's a Met in Philly celebrating. Now we respect everything that all the guys do, no matter what. But
not from the Mets.
Yeah.
Not
That's what
Mets.
that's what I'm saying. I know you guys like, but
No.
I turned around to throw the ball back to the pitcher, and the pitcher was kicking the rosin bag. He was mad about the double, and so I go to throw it to him, and he wasn't looking. So my fingers out on my glove, my index fingers out on my glove. So I put the ball behind my glove and in my finger, and then I turn my glove over so you can see my open, empty glove, and I'm just standing there, and then I'm waiting, and he goes to tip his hat, and he just switches his feet from on second base to go tip his hat somewhere else or something. I don't know what he's doing during the game, but he stepped off the bag, and I grabbed the ball and tagged him real quick, and I mean, Doug gave it. When he called him out, he called him out. Yeah, he made a show of it, and nobody knew what was going on.
And that was Gary Carter's birthday too.
It was his
so.
birthday. Yeah,
it was. So happy birthday, Gary.
Rest in peace, Gary. I mean, it's we had our things going on. I went to Shea, and I remember Juan Samuel was hitting. I was on second base, and I just had this vision. That Sammy, I saw the pitch that was coming, shortstop. I read it, and I've been out there for a few pitches, so I know what's coming. And I said, well, Sammy's gonna crush this. And so I get my secondary lead, and so Sammy's swinging, and I broke. If he hits this ball at somebody, line drive, it's a double play. He hits it to Kevin McReynolds in left field, and it's like a two-hopper, and Kevin McReynolds got a good arm and accurate. And Larry Bow was at third base holding me up, and he didn't see the jump I got, and I run right through the stop sign. And when I'm leaning forward, that was back in the day when you can take the catcher out. I'm leaning forward, and Gary, I see the ball when I'm getting ready to lay out. I had a free safety flashback, and I hit him, and the ball went to the backstop. I touched the bag. Touch home plate. Well, I ran through that and got that and took Gary Carter out. Was he 6'4", whatever? He way bigger than me, and everybody was like, "Whoa, Jeltz, I'm playing the game. I'm playing hard." And from that moment on, in Shea Stadium, the cop comes out of the dugout and he's looking back up at the stands every time we come in and go out. Yeah, pennies and marbles hurt. Because every time I come in and out at Shea Stadium that night, they were throwing pennies and marbles, and I was taking a beating. And they didn't like that at all. But yeah, we had a good time.
Steve, you hear players retired, the thing they miss the most, the camaraderie, the competition. What's the thing you miss the most about the game? Is it being around the other guys? Is it literally playing it?
Yeah, literally playing it. I think that's kind of what it was. I still work out quite a bit, and might not be able to tell right now, but I still work out quite a bit and work with these kids and that's where I have my fun and giving it back to them and teaching them how to play the game correctly. And then like right now we have the celebrations going on and dancing in the end zone and all that other nonsense. See, I don't go with any of that. I teach these kids that, you go out there. I'm not sure when the game changed to the point where playing the game wasn't enough and we had to humiliate our opponent and do this thing, about celebrating and dancing and pointing and doing all that. Just go out and play the game with respect. And at a younger age, I think I tell the kids that you get in the other team's head when you hit a home run or you do something good and you guys don't get overexcited. You just go back to business. This other team's looking at you like, these guys are like, they're not even getting excited. Look out, here they come because we came to play. And then when the game's over, then we'll enjoy ourselves. But while we're playing the game, we respect our opponent so we can show respect in ourselves when we do that. And I think that's what we're losing a little bit. And the kids are watching these Major League ball players and NFL ball players do that stuff, and they're starting to do the same thing at our level, and I put a stop to it. I was like, no, we came out here to play this game. You do not humiliate your opponent. And you come out here and you give it every single thing you got. You leave it on the field. When you get done, you can rest. While we're playing this game, we're going to learn how to play the game, and we're going to play as hard as we can. Winning and losing, I'm not concerned with that. Not at this level. We're not going to worry about that. If you do what I tell you to do, you're going to win more than you lose, I promise you. But the most important thing is for you to learn how to be good Christian young men and women and have fun. What happened to having fun for these 10-year-olds and 11-year-olds? Have you seen some of the reactions from some of these people at these kids' games? You would be like in shock. It's like, relax,
like parents are going to jail for fighting.
Yeah.
Like it's
they're
a kid's
10 years
game.
old. Come on. It's
a
kid's game all the way to where we're playing. I'll tell you right now, and I told somebody the story about Smitty. He goes, his locker was right next to mine, and he was all nervous about something one day. And I just don't have that in me. I'm going to have fun wherever I'm at. If I'm not having fun, I'm done. You know, I'm not, God told me to come on this earth. He's got me here to treat people the way I want to be treated and have a good time and enjoy life and smile. Enjoy each and every moment and smile. Well, how can you not enjoy being a major league ball player? How can you? And then Smitty told me something one day. I looked at him. I said, Smitty, loosen up, man. Why are you so nervous? And he looked up at me and he said, "This is still the big leagues, isn't it?" And serious. And I said, "Oh, okay." And then I kind of set back, but then that made me think. I still had the same fun. Don't get me wrong. He didn't change that. But at the end of the day, that made me think. And even though I worked very hard, Darren and I worked out together all the time, and with Gus Heffling and all that. And I mean, I got to say, I talked to Lee Elia just before he just called me just before when I got in the restaurant, and he said he was going to be down on the alumni day for the celebration for the 80 clubs. So yeah, he's going to be down. But I mean, Lee is a great man. He was. The reporter got on him one day, and they said, "Well, you said when the game's on the line, who do you want at the plate?" And Lee Elia said, "Steve Jeltz." Well, everybody's like, "Steve Jeltz? He's hitting like 235." He said, "That's okay. If the game's on the line, that's who I want at the plate." Awesome. And I thought, "Wow, Lee, thank you." It's like, and he said, "Well, you know who you are." He said, "And you're not getting. They got a tough time with you when the game's on the line." Well, Lee had confidence in me, and I think what I try to take from that is, if you have confidence in the kids that you're coaching and the kids that you're mentoring, then you bring their spirit up. And I think that's what I got out of that. Lil Joe Morgan told me when I finished playing with him after that first game, he said, "Come here, rookie." And I said, "What's up, Joe?" He said, "I played with a lot of minor league rookies in my day." He said, "You're the first big league rookie I ever played with. Congratulations." So, I mean, that was my first start behind lefty. And I mean, just to be 24 years old and have these guys saying these things to you, you just don't even know what it does. I'm telling you guys, it's like, so you mean so much. I mean, even you guys right now, what you're doing, everything you're doing means so much, and you don't even know how much. There's a kid out there that's hearing you right now or talking to you or you've talked to in the past. You don't even know how much you touched him. And I mean, we have to remember that. And as parents and coaches, when we're watching these kids play the game, and we don't get so excited to the point where we're fighting and arguing and carrying on. I mean, we got to stop that. We got to think about these kids, and we're supposed to be role models. So let's try and be that.
Well, you know what, Steve? You saying that? I mean, I'll go back to a story. I mean, it was my older daughter. We're in the playoffs, and then the umpire, he's off.
There you go.
He's off. So I say something to him. Sure, shut up. That's enough. And now 3 innings go by. He's doing it again. I say something again. Sure, if I have to talk to you again, you're going to go to your car. I said, all right. So 2 innings pass by. He's off again. So I say something. Go to your car. I said, all right. So I go to my car. Now I drive up right behind the bullpen. My car's right behind. All right, I'm at my car.
Yeah.
But it's that. It's just the emotion.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So, and my better half, you got to shut up. They're going to make them forfeit the game. So I had to sit in the car, but I shut up. But I still got to watch the game. But it's just.
Well, I understand an emotion, and that's one of those things.
Not cursing and
that, yeah, that's fine, exactly. And that's what the game is a passion. People who watch the game, people who coach the game, you have kids playing the game, you have a passion. And the only thing I don't lose that. For God's sake, don't lose it. That's why I left Philadelphia, because you guys used to chew me up. And I mean, but you know what? But you were always behind me because I played hard as I could play. I say I'm doing the best I can, and I'm not going to quit doing that. It doesn't matter what happens. But I think one thing is that's big that you mentioned, umpires. They're not perfect by any means. I mean, I tell my kids, don't you ever, don't call him don't use it, Mr. Umpire, sir. We're done. You don't have anything to say to him. You let him call the game. If he's calling bad pitches, then you better start swinging more. I hit it in the 8-hole in the National League with the pitcher behind me. So you learn how to hit bad pitches in the 8-hole. So
right, you got to adjust to
what he's calling. That's right. And if it's close enough for him to call, it's close enough for you to swing. Don't let him be the determining factor of your at bat. When you got 2 strikes on you, he's doing that. Go to hacking, foul it off, hit it bad. I don't care. Swing the bat. So that's what we have.
Get the bat off your shoulder. Don't strike. Don't let him determine if you're
striking. That's right.
Get
exactly.
the bat off your shoulder.
Exactly.
So, Brad, if you don't mind, I got a question for you.
Sure.
So there's been, some players from the Phillies that played in the vet I think you probably know where I'm going with this. That have had brain cancer.
Is there a trend to that?
Like that. Is there a connection there with the vet? Do you think?
Yeah. So, when Darren was diagnosed, I started getting some phone calls about whether there was a connection between the brain cancer and Veterans Stadium. I've spoken with people that are involved with the Tug McGraw Foundation out in California because obviously Tug passed of the same brain cancer. And then you bring it current to most recently David West. And then, the news and Vuk and Ken Brett and, and Johnny Oates. And so, people start asking that question. And, I've looked into it a lot, and I want to just kind of be very cautious about my comments because it's a very difficult area to discuss.
Line.
It's a very thin line. And, as a lawyer, I'm going to wear my lawyer hat for a minute. You have a causation issue. That's a legal term. Like, what is really causing this? And, none of the experts can say with any level of definitiveness what exactly is going on. I've heard the jug guns. I've heard AstroTurf. I've heard it all. Trust me. And until and unless there's some definitive scientific causation link to the brain cancer and these people, it's all speculation. So, it's unfortunate. The numbers in Philadelphia are off the chart. Philadelphia in South Philadelphia in and of itself has a high level of brain cancer, and whether or not there's something environmental going on in South Philadelphia, I don't know, but it is tragic. But until and unless we have more definitive proof, it's not fair to anybody to even speculate on the cause.
Right. It's just, and you would have, if there was something, you would have, like, have we heard about any of the Eagles that played in the vet?
Yeah. So here's what you're going to hear. Okay, the Phillies play 82 home games a year. The Eagles play 8-9 home games. If you talk to preseason, so you're going to get that argument. You're going to get, why didn't the stadium workers who worked at Veterans Stadium, did they have high levels of brain cancer or any other types of cancer? What about the grounds crew? Yada yada yada. We can talk about this until the cows come home. But again, until we have some sort of definitive information that scientifically connects one dot to the other dot, it's all speculation.
Yeah, assumptions are the mother of all F-ups.
Yep, yeah. But it's a great question, and I know it's a hot topic. And listen, I knew David West very well, and David was a big supporter of the foundation. And his passing, just reinvigorated these discussions. And God bless people, for having these discussions, because an intellectual topic, discussion about it is, helpful. But like I said, until the scientists or some other expert can come forward and say, this is what's going on, it's just talk at this point.
Right.
Yeah. I want to say one thing. So, you had asked a great question, Chris, about, the veteran stadium days. And we've heard so many cool stories from Steve today. And I'm going to put Steve on the spot in a second. So we've heard a lot of great names here today. Boa, Schmitty, Carlton, you name it. But one of the things that has kind of remarkably struck me about the Phillies organization is it's such a family, tight-knit organization. And there's so many people that have such long histories behind the scenes that you guys don't even know about, that I think, require some recognition to your fan base. So people like Video Dan.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a guy, Video Dan, that I would say 98% of your listeners have no idea. Did 40 years with the with the Phillies and did all of the videography for all of the Philadelphia Phillies minor league and pro ball games. And I would call him up and say, Dan, I need this footage from 1984. He'd say, Brett, and I got you. And it's in your inbox, and it'll be in your inbox in 10 minutes. Like the archive that this guy has. And but there's so many other people like that, from Debbie Nacito runs alumni relations to Larry Shank, who probably had 40 years as the media director, marketing director. What's that?
Rob
Holiday, Mike DiMuzio.
Yeah. On and on.
Not Larry Shank. Frank Koppenberger, who was the travel secretary. Frank just retired after 40 years. And the reason I say this is because A, they're unsung heroes. B, the longevity is remarkable. But C, the one thing that I was just remarkably struck by the Phillies. It's such a family, tight-knit environment. So if we can bring back, that type of feeling that Steve was talking about, bring back the game, get rid of these analytics, get rid of this, all this, hype. Exactly. Yeah. And just bring back the fun, bring back the game of baseball, and bring back, the stories. I think we'll have another 1993 and another 2008, 2009 Phillies type team again.
That's a fact.
Yeah, that's
right. Very well put. Absolutely.
But that's not going to happen in the next 5 years. Maybe after 10 years, as trends tend to repeat, that might go back to that. But right now, analytics is where it's at.
Yeah.
That's and it's not going to change.
Agree.
It's just where baseball is. Yeah.
It is. Baseball is probably the one sport, like more than the others, that it's hurt the most.
Mm-hmm.
Like most sports are doing it now, but I don't want it to like I'm here with a professional and Brett, who's a part of the organization. Just from a fan's perspective, baseball is probably the easiest game. Like you just go out there and do it. Like it's been around since the beginning of time. Like stop trying to change it. Like it's played the way it's played for a reason.
Exactly.
So it's a shame what analytics have done to baseball. It's just not the same game I grew up watching.
Nope. Steve, it's interesting that before, like now players play multi-positions. You played 6 positions in the major leagues at different times. So like 6 out of the 9, you only didn't play first, catch, and pitch, I think. Now, like a lot of the guys do that. Yeah.
I think when I was growing up, we played baseball. And we just played everywhere on the field. I mean, sometimes we only had 5 guys on each side. Mm-hmm. So you had to spread it out and go out there and play. We just had fun playing the game, and you could play anywhere. And so when they tell me to go play, that's another Elio story. He told me I come in and Von Hayes isn't real happy about
Stick.
Yeah, Sticks. He wasn't happy about I didn't read the newspaper. So Gary Maddox, Matthews, they told me when I came to Philly, they said, okay, don't read the newspaper. They said, you come out here and you play baseball. He said, leave the newspaper alone. He said, come and play. He said, they'll build you up and they don't have a problem with shooting you down. And as a rookie, you need to keep a happy medium for sure. We all do. But I'm just letting you know, because I've seen a lot of rookies come in and that just chew them up and they can't handle it. And I said, that's fine. So I get a phone. I get in the clubhouse this day and Von Hayes comes over to me. He said, you really think so, Jeltz? And I said, what? Think what? And he said, no, you just think that. I said, what are you talking about? Well, the reporter, here he is again, asking Lee. He said, who's the best outfielder in your organization? And I'm thinking to myself, I know where he's going with it. And I'm like, he said, you think you're a better outfielder? And I said, I didn't say that. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. Well, Lee seen me play in the outfield. And back in the day, I ran a 4.240 and I had a cannon and I could play center field with anybody. I stood out there with Gary Maddox and he taught me a lot. Just watching him during batting practice, I go out and take fly balls. So just having natural ability is one thing, but having Gary Maddox and Matthews out there telling you things and telling you, here's how you get to jump on the ball, stop taking the false step and all that stuff. I paid attention to him. So I made some plays in spring training Lee saw. And so that's when he told him that he said, quiet as kept my starting shortstop. So that's how that got started. And I was like, but I didn't say that. I'm just playing. I said, I'm going to shortstop. You go back out to center field. Don't worry about, I'm just going to do what I do. So, Vaughn wasn't real happy about it. So we kept talking about it. And then we had a throw off. And Darren was catching at the time too. So we had a throw off. So they said, so I go out to center field and he jumps in front of me to get the first one. We throw 2 to third and 2 to home. And then I jog back into shortstop, take my ground balls because I had to have this throw off. And we had a little thing going on between us, all the players and stuff. So anyway, Vaughn throws his first one and he throws he got a little loop in it, but kind of one hopper and it's to the left of third base a little bit. And I come up behind him and I throw a dart, one hopper right there on the corner of the bag. And they're like, oh, Jeltz. He said, Vaughn, you're down 1. And then he comes up and he airmails 1 to third and it kind of sails off a little bit. And so I said, we're doing that. Okay. So I come up and I cut one loose and it's right through the shortstop head and it hits Smitty right in the chest or right in the belt or whoever was third base. It might have been Charlie Hayes, catches it right there over the bag and said, Jeltz, he's up 2-0. And then he throws one to home. And when he threw the one to home, he hit the edge of the mound and kicked over to the third base dugout. So I got easy one here. So I just come up nice and easy, one hopper to get Darren that catcher right there over the plate, right on the dot, because I worked at this stuff every day. You know, I knew I wasn't going to be, I'd be playing shortstop, but I'd go out in the outfield. And that's why I tell these kids, you practice how you play how you practice. So I go out in the outfield and I throw balls and I take fly balls and I do that while I was a starting shortstop. The guys used to come over to me and say, you know, you have a 162 game schedule here, Jeltz, and you're going to leave it in batting practice. Ease up a little bit. And I'm thinking to myself, I got to go out here and do this every day to stay sharp because I'm not going to play out there every day. So the last one I threw, I cut that one loose and hit Darren in the chest at home plate. And then I jogged into shortstop and I was like, now I'm just going to play shortstop. And I didn't have to hear what I was hearing anymore. We let that one go. And it was over.
You got to respect the
that's it. I was like, I'm not talking about it. I said, let's just go out here and do it and see what we do. So.
How about the journey with switch hitting? Like, how did that come about? Like, was it you? Was it the Phillies? And who helped you? And I'm just kind of really curious about that.
That's kind of funny because I was I dabbled with it a little bit in the minor leagues, but you know I left it alone. And I remember at the end of a season, I can't remember what at the end of the '85 season, I want to say, I had all the reporters came out of the manager's office. I can't remember who was managing, but came out of the manager's office, and all of a sudden, I mean, I'm like a rookie, and you know, they all come running over to my locker, and they say, well, what are you going to do, Steve? The Phillies said they're going to have to look for a left-handed hitting shortstop. And I don't know that nobody in the history game has ever done that at that level, so I'm not even thinking about it. When I say it, what I say is what I mean. And so they said, you going to go to winter ball? I said, nah, winter ball's for minor leaguers coming up. I'm not going to winter ball. They said, well, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to go home and teach myself how to hit left-handed. And I meant it when I said it. Well, hindsight's 20/20 because I did it, but you know, I think that one hit headlines. Jeltz said you go home and teach yourself how to hit left-handed. Well, I never knew that nobody in the history of the game had ever done it.
Yeah.
But I know I went home that winter and it was 2 sets of batting gloves and I got blisters and I'm hitting off this machine and Darren's shooting them at me. And you know, when we were working in the wintertime and I'm hitting off this machine, and I think it wasn't the thing about trying to be able to turn on the ball because that's natural, especially if you never hit left-handed before you go on the other side. First thing you're doing is looking for something you can do that with and pull it. You know,
is it like the lead arm that kind of? Well, is the lead arm that's the issue?
It's the same. I think when I get to that, I was teaching myself how to hit the ball up the middle and the other way, handling the bat. Okay. You got to do that. It's easy to pull the ball. I tell kids that all the time. I say, you know, they call it power alley for a reason. And you win ball games by hitting the ball back up the middle. And you set yourself up not going into hitting a whole lot, but you will be a better hitter if you hit the ball to all fields. Pete told me, and Volkswagen, don't get on me about this one because back in the day it was just a bug. Now Volkswagen's phenomenal. But you said you want to drive a Mercedes, be a pull or hit the ball where it's pitched. You want to drive Volkswagen, be a pull hitter. That's what he kind of said. So, you know, it's like hit the ball where it's pitched. And I think being able to do that, and what I teach these kids to do that, me coming into spring training that next year, and everybody was looking at me like, yeah, right, you're gonna hit left-handed. So we're playing no less the Royals, Kansas City Royals in spring training. And I get my first at bat, the first pitch, I think Quisenberry was pitching or somebody, I can't remember, but I remember standing in the box, and now I've been hitting left-handed off this machine all winter long. So I'm pumped up about this thing, you know, and he winds up and comes at me and gets ready to throw this ball. And my first instinct was, because I don't know how to get out of the way from this side of the plate. That's my first thought. And I was like, that was just like, wow. And I had to like reach way down deep to stay in the box because I'd never seen a live arm coming at me like that. So then he throws me a couple pitches. He throws me a fastball up and away, and I crush it. And it's in Florida, wind blowing right, and it's a home run. First at bat, left-handed.
No way.
It went foul, right?
Yeah.
And so,
That's awesome,
then he drops a slider on me. Of course, I struck out, and then I had to hear that from the dugout when I go back. They're like, "Yeah, right, you're going to hit left-handed." You know, at the end of that spring, I think I got the most valuable player trophy in spring training, and I hit 426. In that spring.
Wow.
And that was the first. That's
awesome.
There's no pitchers hitting behind you, you know, in spring training. You're just out there getting hit.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference.
So you had been playing baseball your whole life at that point, and just one winter you decided I'm going to
teach myself how to hit left-handed.
That's
Well, that's what
impressive, Steve.
they
That's
said.
impressive.
They said they were going out to get left-handed hitting shortstop. So what do I do?
Exactly right.
I want to keep my job. I'm going
right.
to learn how to hit left-handed. So that's kind of what happened.
So I just have to take off and get to another event at 3:00 in Center City, but I wanted to thank Steve and obviously the Drunk Phils fans. This has been remarkable and great support of the Darren Daulton Foundation. I just wanted to end by telling your listeners, again, our big events are our celebrity bartending and our golf tournament over Columbus weekend. I just want to read the list of who came last year or who historically has come to our event. And it's kind of a remarkable tribute, not only to Darren, but to just everybody in the Phillies organization that comes out and supports us. So last year we had John Kruk, Mickey Morandini, Tommy Green, Danny Jackson, Don Carmen, Jim Eisenreich, Andrew Knapp. Over the years, we've had Bill Giles, Dick Yingling, Larry Boa, Charlie Manuel, Dickie Knowles, Dave Hollins, Randy Wolf, Scott Air. You mentioned Von Hayes. Stick comes to all our events. Wes Chamberlain, Ricky Jordan, Larry Anderson, Larry Christensen, Todd Pratt, Ricky Bowe, Mitch Williams, Ben Rivera, Del Unser, Pat Burrell, Greg Gross, Vince Vukovic, Tony Longmire, Mr. Steve Jeltz, Jeff Stone, Shane Raleigh, Ben Davis, Ruben Amaro was there last year, Milt Thompson, Pete McCannon, the former manager, Reese Hoskins was there last year, Jamie Moyer, and so many more. So anything you guys, I mean, that's just the kind of people that you can expect to come out to our events. So anything you guys could do to support us, DarrenDaultonFoundation.org. Check us on Twitter, Instagram, or Facebook. I appreciate your time today.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brett.
And, hey, it was nice meeting you, Brett.
It may have been quicker if he listed everybody that didn't show up.
Oh, I know. Huh? Yeah, I thank Brett. I want to say that. Thank you, Brett, for doing what you do, because it's a lot of hours involved in the behind the scenes of this, and that's what Brett does in this team. So thank you, guys.
Yep, absolutely. That's awesome. So so again, if you're here now, there's of course you'll see all the items in front of our stage here up for a raffle. That's all the proceeds are going to the Darren Daulton Foundation. And we're also going to do a 50-50. So that'll be after the show. We'll kind of work into that. So
And I just had the roast beef sandwich and some fries, and oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, the food's really, really good. So we're gonna have a friend of ours come up. He's a supporter of Corner Pub Sports. The Booch Bomb, Joe Bucci.
For you.
yes,
come over here, man.
Yeah, come on. You get to sit next to.
Good.
That's Joe Bucci, Steve.
Nice to meet you.
But yeah, Booch has been a longtime supporter of our show for a while, and
yeah, you know what? It's interesting. We got a mutual friend that invited him to a show.
I have 2 circles of friends.
Oh yeah, I know.
So
I
there's
heard.
Joel,
yeah,
and there's Chris Shrink.
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah, he was in the fantasy football league with us years ago. But yeah, so we didn't. I hadn't seen him in years, and all of a sudden, we had a podcast, and we invited our buddy Joel over, and he brings Booch to hang out, and he's like, "I remember you. You were in the fantasy league, and this and that." And I'm like, "Yeah, how about that?" And sure enough, now he's one of us that hangs out, listens, and jumps on every once in a while, and love the support, and he's a big sports fan and stuff. So yeah,
That's it. You went old school like I did. Yeah, for Mr. Jeltz here, right?
I did. I went old school too. Just my Harrington's.
It's a new player, but
I wish they would go back to it.
I do too.
I love it.
Yeah, that baby blue's the one too.
Yeah, the baby blue
and the stripes. Yep.
They wear the baby blues on Thursday day games, but they don't wear these.
They don't wear the original pinstripes.
No, pinstripes the one.
Yeah,
that's the first one I ever wore. Matter of fact,
this one
yeah,
right here.
Right there. That's it.
I knew that.
Yeah.
No, he did. That's why he put it on.
You just made his world, Steve. We're going to hear about this for 10 years.
But Steve, again, I mean, we cannot thank you enough for coming out and doing all this. But talking about the left-handed hitting, and I know when we had you on our show before, we talked about this, and you were the first Philly to hit home runs from opposite sides of the plate in the same game, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you did it in the game against Pittsburgh.
Yes, sir.
Which was the game that the announcer for
Walkathon.
said that if the Steelers, if the Pirates come back and win this game, I will walk from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
If they lose the game, I'm sorry. I will walk from Pittsburgh to Philadelphia. And you guys came back and won that game thanks to your 2 home runs from both sides of the
I
plate.
think Vaughn Stick went. I was on Stick earlier. He went deep twice. I think my first at bat I walked and I was on when he went deep. So that's our first. It might have been the second. Yeah, I think he hit 2 that night too. I want to say. I'm not sure, but anyway, yeah, we came back. That was a heck of a ball game. But it was one of those games where I wasn't even playing. Tommy Hurt was playing second base.
Oh, okay.
And I was up in the clubhouse, and I mean, at an hour and 20 minutes or so in the first half inning, and I got my shower shoes on and my just the top like that one right there, the one that you had. I didn't have my jersey on. And so when we finally come in, I'm watching on TV, and when we finally come in, these guys' heads are like, oh, man, I can only imagine. Yeah. And so Tommy Hurt gets Nick Lave was the manager at the time. Tommy Hurt gets his one at bat, and then he says, Jeltz, go to second base. Well, I've been there. Me and Darren been there probably longer than anybody in '89 at that point. So the guys were like, Jeltz, you're a veteran. Tommy can stick this. He can sit with us. Nick he's a veteran too, and he's like taking him out of this game. We're getting hammered, and these guys are like, Jeltz, he can stick it. I said, no. I went back to Smitty. This is the big leagues, right? Yeah, I'll play. And I get to hit in the 2-hole. Oh, yes, I'm doing this one. I'm out there. So I went out and the rest is history. But I mean, it's there. You can't get caught up. I think that what happens a lot in sports, people start thinking a little bit more of themselves than they are. And you got to stay humble and just go have a good time and do what you can do. And when somebody asks you to do something, keep your mouth shut and go do it. Simple as that.
Yeah. It was a pretty remarkable feat, though, man. To be able to be the first to ever do that, and the fact that you weren't even starting in that game, I didn't know that. That's pretty wild.
No, yeah, I wasn't starting.
So Mike's dad, John, just joined us. How are you?
I'm good, man. How about you guys?
Good. He's sitting next to Mr. Steve Jeltz. Actually, so John, I'm trying to think. So John actually played with Ruben
Lamar.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
Jr.,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, back in the what was it?
Crispin Gardens, right?
Yeah,
right around the corner from here.
It was funny because he was like an 8-year-old on a 10-year-old team, and
that's how good he was. Yeah,
he pulled off one of the absolutely coolest moves I ever seen in Little League, anywhere, a base running move. So he's caught dead in a rundown. What's he do? He takes one giant step to second base, stands up, walks back to first base as the kid's throwing it over his head.
Yep. That's the way you do that.
As 8 years old, too. 8 years old, he knew that.
Yeah, your old man used to talk to Ruben Maurer Sr. right in the stands.
Yeah, they sat together when he wasn't on the road scouting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's what he did for us back then.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome, though. But I thought maybe you get a kick out. It's such a small world, and the amount of people. I had no idea before today that you and Darren had that close of a relationship. I just obviously I knew you played with him, but I didn't know you guys were that close.
Oh yeah, long before.
It's such a small world. Like, was that? You stop picking on him about his hair.
Oh,
man. He is like fixated on it. Show him your mop top. Yeah, show him your. There it is. But yeah, it's so funny how small of a world it is, and again, speaking of, we're talking about Booch and how small a world it is.
Yeah.
And
thanks.
No, it's crazy. I didn't say small. It's small of a world it is.
Tell me how you shut your
All right, knock it off. All right, PJ.
So, Steve, did you ever play with Ruben?
No.
No, he was a little bit later.
After, right? A little after. Yeah. What did you do? 5 years?
What?
In the majors? 5?
8.5.
8.5. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I know. For some reason, I thought 5. I don't know why. I don't know why I thought 5 years, but that's awesome, man.
Yeah, 83 to 89 here, and then Kansas City.
Yeah. So, which was interesting because it's kind of a call back to home.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Like I said, I was coming in town, and I love Philadelphia. It's like, it gave me opportunity to play the game and went through a lot and all the guys. I got an opportunity beyond belief. So I don't take take it. I take it as the blessing that it was, and that's why I try so hard to give back. And I got to thank the Phillies for they've been in my corner the whole time. I mean, we were talking about doing some projects, and the Phillies are on board with that. And so I appreciate you guys having me come out, and I mean just the whole thing just feels good, feeling good show. That's what this is, right?
Mm-hmm.
There it is.
Absolutely.
All right,
Yeah.
that's it right there. I'm loving it.
Mike, your business partner, Mike, who was on a little bit ago with us, he wanted me to bring up a particular story about Bo Jackson and your son in the locker room.
Oh, there you go. There you go, Mike.
Oh, this got to be a good one.
Oh, it is. So we're in Kansas. I was in Kansas City, and when kids come in the locker room in the clubhouse, they tend to just stand. Now, mind you, my son has been in Philly, and I told you who I played with. So, you guys all know who I played with. He's been around this. He's not in awe by all this.
Yeah.
Now, Bo was a 3-year rookie to me. Okay. Like I said, I'm 63 now. So Bo was a few years behind me. But, I mean, most phenomenal athlete I ever had the opportunity to play with. And I say that because I say it. I played with anybody you could probably name as a Hall of Famer or whatever, but as far as a natural athlete he's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
So Justin, my son, comes in the clubhouse in Kansas City, and every time a kid comes in, they'll stare at Bo, and Bo will turn around and say, "What are you looking at, boy?" and they just jump and kind of run away. And so he said that to my son, and my son looked at him and said, "You?" And so then Bo says, "Jeltz, come and get your son." I was like, "Man," no, I'm not getting. I said, "You're on your own there, So they play every day. Him and Bo. Every time he comes in the clubhouse, him and Bo are boxing around and doing all that. Well, Justin stepped into one time and caught a left hand from Bo center mass and landed right on his butt. And I kept telling him every day, "Stop messing with him." And so he starts crying, and Bo's locker is right across the clubhouse from mine. And I saw what happened. I wasn't really happy about how it happened.
Sure.
But at the end of the day, I'm teaching my son a lesson too. So I'm like, yeah. I said, he come run over me crying. I said, "Why are you crying?" I said, he's the fastest, most powerful athlete that I've ever had the pleasure of meeting, and you're trying to fight him. What do you think is going to happen? Okay, so we go to Seattle. So I'm riding home that night at the end of the game. My son usually falls asleep in the seat. We got about a 30-minute ride back to the house, and so he usually falls asleep, and he didn't fall asleep. I got
still moping.
No, he's not moping. He's
hurting.
He's plotting.
Oh no!
And I'm thinking, this boy got me. Oh my Lord! So I'm thinking I got the music playing and it's dark, and so I think he's asleep. And he says, "Dad," and I'm like, turn the music down. I said, "Man, you're not asleep." He said, "How can I get Bo back?" And I said, I said, "Leave it alone, man. Just leave it alone. Don't bother Bo. Leave it alone.
Tell him the Raiders cut you."
Yeah, don't mess with him. So we go to Seattle, family trip. Okay, so they put me out in right field, and John Watson comes up to me and he says, "When they put you in outfield in Philly, where'd they put you? Left field or right field?" And I said, "They put me in center." He said, "Well, I can't take Bo out of center, so I'm put you in right or left." And I said, "Put me in right then." So we got George Brett on the line. We got Frank White playing up the middle. We got the winning run on second base and 1 out, and Saber Hagen's pitching, and I think it's Junior hitting. And I get a screaming ground ball straight out to me at the right field. And I just came off the bench, right? And I'm thinking, I said, so I'm standing out there thinking about what I'm going to do before this ball comes to me. So as soon as the ball's hit, now a manager or a third base coach sends his runner based upon the fact that if the outfielder has the ball in his glove before the runner's foot hits the bag, he holds him up. If the outfielder doesn't have the ball in his glove and his foot hits the bag, he sends him based upon his speed, of course, and what he knows his runners.
Sure.
So my thought is, I'm going to get this ball quick as I can, so he didn't even try it.
Mm-hmm.
So the ball's hit, it's a screaming worm burner. And I mean, George is on the line and Frank's at the middle. It's just me. And so I take off, run this 4-2 toward the ball. And I get to it. I come up, nice, easy crow hop. And I know I got to that ball before he got to third, like a step and a half probably.
Yeah.
And I come up with it, and I nice and easy throw to like batting practice, but like infield when we're taking infield. Nice and easy one hopper. And I could throw the ball, but I didn't even throw this one hard. I was like 70% one hopper to Darren because I know he's holding him up. So I let the ball go, and I look, and the third base coach is sending him. And I'm like, so I'm watching, and then I'm watching when I first let it go. I'm watching him, and I'm like, I didn't even throw that ball hard. But Darren catches the ball one hop, and the guy running from home, he stopped halfway, 3/4 of the way, and Darren walked over and tagged him because he was that far out. So I turn and look, and Duke is on to say he doesn't know I work at this every day.
Right.
So the third base coach was the manager for the Blue Jays when I was in Spartanburg, South Carolina. I think we went to Asheville or wherever we played the Blue Jays in A-ball, and he didn't know me. He knew me as a second baseman. So now that's the last time he had seen me. He had never seen me anywhere else, and this has been years. So he's coaching third base, and the reason why he came up to me later, he goes, "Man, when did you learn how to throw the ball like that?" And I said, "Well, I work on that every day." He said, "I just knew you're a second baseman. You're getting ready to throw this ball, and it's going to be sailing off, so I just sent him." And so we hold him up. Well, we come back and we win this ball game. Well, that stopped us from losing the game. So when we go back into the clubhouse, and we had a big buffet out there and a lot of food. And so I'm standing in my locker, and the reporter's over there talking to me about the throw. "Man, you made a good throw to home," and da. I said, "Well, thank you." And I watched my son duck underneath me, and he's moving pretty quick. And so it just made me take a look at him. And I said, "What is he doing?" And then I look a little further ahead, and I see Bo Jackson's over here getting his plate of food, and he's got on like a Speedo. And you're supposed to wear shower shoes in the clubhouse, but he don't wear. Bo's carved out of stone. I mean, he looked like this statue. I mean, Bo's carved. I mean, and so I see Justin going around, and I'm thinking, I didn't even think nothing of it at that time either. Well, probably 2 years before that, he was playing with me. I'm playing with him, and we're boxing around, and he hit me in my lower back. And he's 7 years old now while we're in the clubhouse this day, but he was 5 when he did that to me, and he hit me in my lower back, and it hit a nerve, and my knees buckled. And I told him, I looked at him, I said, "Boy, don't you ever hit me like that again." I said, I said, "That's not funny. That hurt, Dad." I said, "Don't do that." So he goes around behind this thing, and he sneaks up, and Bo's got this tray, buffet style, with seafood and steak, piled up. And I see Justin go around this corner, and all of a sudden, I see Bo go down.
Oh no!
and this tray hits the edge of the thing, and it falls all over him. But Justin had hit him in his lower back, and his knees buckled. And it took him a second to get up. Now Justin was faster than me. He's 7, so he was quick around that clubhouse. And he runs in, and he gets behind me in my clubhouse. My locker is probably 8 feet deep. It goes back, it's one of those walk-ins, and my bats are lined up on this side, my helmets are over here, and he comes running around here, and Bo hauls out, "Jeltz," he said, "I'm whooping your son." And I thought, oh. So I would grab a baseball bat, and I stick it on my shoulder, and I've been telling Bo, I said, "Man, you got to let him win every now and then." Before he dropped him, in Kansas City, I said, "You got to let him win every now and then." He said, "Man, just keep him from over here." I said, "Just telling you, he's been thinking about it. He asked me what he could do."
He's been plotting for 2 months.
Yeah. And I'm like, I forgot all about it. I'm not even thinking about it. He's 7 years old. So he comes running around to my locker, and he's mad. And this reporter steps out of the way.
Bo was mad.
Oh, Bo's hot.
He's
hot,
man.
And I put this bat up on my shoulder, and I just looked at him, and I think he understood. That's my son.
Yeah.
You hit him earlier. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I said, "I told you." He said, "I'm whooping him." I said, "No, you're not." And I had that bat on my shoulder, and Bo looked me in the eye. And this is funny because it's probably a month later, and he comes over to me and in the clubhouse, and he looks at me and says, "Jeltz, you were going to hit me with that bat, wasn't you?" And I was like, "Man," I said, "Don't even talk to me about that." I said, "That's my son, man." I said, I looked at him. I said, "Just thank God that you didn't keep coming." Let's put it that way. I said, God was watching over both of us, because I was at the point where I'm standing here looking at this monster. and he's coming after my son. What do you do?
Yeah.
Bo knows what a splinter is in the side of his head.
Oh my! Like I said, to this day, I thank God that nothing happened there. I'm thanking that one stopped because I know me, and that ain't
That's
a
your
good
kid,
thing.
you know?
And I
Gotta draw the line
I got to draw the line, and but Bo respected that too.
Yeah,
and he just let it go, and after that, they got along fine. I mean, I was waiting for him to drop him again.
Yeah, I'll bet.
I said, "You gonna get popped? You better leave him alone because he ain't happy with you." But that day went by, and that's the story Michael wanted to bring up. So I don't usually tell that one, but I guess the whole world knows now.
Did your kid play ball?
Yes, he did. He played, but he went through a lot. And I gave him. It's another one of those things with my son that he could have played with anybody, and I got him a tryout with the Phillies, kind of a private tryout. He flew out, and I mean, you're talking fast. I mean, his mom was a track star, and I could run.
Your nickname was Jet, so he was faster than you?
He was faster than me.
Wow.
That boy could go. And they Phillies didn't seem like they needed him at that time. It was just a bad time or whatever, so he didn't get a shot at it. But my mom and dad, his grandma and grandpa spoiled him. And that's what we see it in this world right now. Because I told him, I said, "How do you?"
I wouldn't know anything about that with my kid.
I know. It's like I told him, I said, Dad, Command Sergeant Major, didn't let me get away with anything. But Justin, he gets away with everything. And now he's doing really well. I mean, I had to get on his tail when he was 31. I said, "Okay, we're done. You're going to get a job. You're going to do this, this, and this." And he was pretty mad at me about it, but I didn't care. And I told my dad, I said, "Why do you let him get away with it?" He said, "That's not my job. That's yours." And so, I said, "But you guys had him to, come on.
Why were you so hard on me?" And then all of a sudden,
let him go. Yeah. But they blessed him, and he's a good kid. So he's getting his stuff together now, and he's doing well.
That's good. Yeah. That's good to hear.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
I have a couple questions.
Yeah, go
ahead. I guess if you had to pick one moment that sticks out in your head, being with the Phillies, that you always go back to that moment. What was that? What was your favorite part or favorite moment, being with the Phillies?
If you ask me that question right after I finished playing, I wouldn't have an answer. And now I watch, reactions. Because when I played, people used to ask me, "Well, did you get autographs from Pete and Lefty and Tug McGraw and all these?" I never thought about any of that stuff. I just went and played the game, and I was, I learned from them. What I got from them was so valuable. What I have to share with these kids now, that's where I'm coming from. Even with the current Phillies or whatever, if they ever ask me to do anything, where I'm coming from, it's a way to play this game and a way to approach it from the time that you get in the car to go to the stadium, and even before. And then you get to the clubhouse, and we were communicating, we were talking. I don't know. I see a little bit too much of the internet, and we got headphones in before the game. See, if I'm managing and coaching, this is a job, number one. But this is your team, number two. So we need to spend time with each other and get rid of the phone when you walk in the clubhouse. Yeah. That's a done deal. Let's get down to business. And let's talk about what we need to do. I think what I learned from Pete and Joe and Gary Maddox and Matthews and all those guys, and Michael Jack, that, like after the game is when you win ball games. After the game, we go right there, fresh in your mind, and we talk about what we need to do and what we should have done and how we should have handled this differently and all that. I went down to the clubhouse a couple of years ago when Juan Samuel was there just to visit with him, and I walked in the clubhouse, and he was there by himself, and it wasn't 15 minutes after the game. Wow. And I said, "Dang, Sammy, where's everybody at?" And he says, "It's not like it used to be, Jeltz." He said,
they just split.
Yeah. And so I said, my biggest thing is, and I might be talking out of turn, but my whole thought is, I'll tell you what we used to do and what worked. And I learned this game from the best of the best, and had the opportunity to play with them and be managed by the best of the best. And I will say that, what we need to do is concentrate on the job that we were hired to do. This is a kid's game, so we need to go out there and have fun. But none of you can say that you can go to your job and be on your phone the whole day, or you're going to get fired.
Yeah, right. It's interesting because we had Brett Myers on one time, and he was talking about the basically the mentality of some of the other pitchers had, and the one that stuck out to me was Cole Hamels. He said Cole Hamels, you can walk up to Cole. Had no idea. Like, he was so cool, calm, collected. His normal, he's a California kid, very. and walked up, talked to him. Oh yeah, I watched the show last night. Blah, blah, blah. Aren't you pitching today? Oh yeah, I got it. But yet there was other pitchers, and I think Brett was included because he said I was guilty of it. Brett, that he was like, I don't want anyone to talk to me, leave me alone, and he kind of went in his own little kind of thing. And
that's the way that
that's the way it was when I was playing.
Yeah, I know. Growing up, that's the way it was. Like
you leave pitchers alone.
Yeah, the starting pitchers there, you leave them alone.
Well, the starting pitcher, let him do his thing and get ready for this game.
Yeah.
We need him to be on point. And then at the end of the day, when I say communicating with each other on a daily basis, I got to talk to my second baseman. I play catch with my second baseman because we have to have a double play combination that's going to work. And we got to know each other's moves without saying anything. And my infield, and we have to talk to each other. Outfielders, when that ball goes to the fence, I watch it to this day. I teach my guys when the ball goes to the wall, middle infielders, get on your horse. You get out there and you handle the ball all the time. Outfielders need to turn around and not have to make a long throw.
Mm-hmm.
They make a short throw to you, and then you make it. That's how you get them an assist. They give them a target to hit. So it's just all those little things that we talked about daily, and every night after the game. And I think that's kind of what I think when I see guys out on the field before the game and they got the earplug, the earbuds in, and they're out there. How do you do that? When you're getting ready to play a major league ball game. You got to be talking to each other.
I can't stand that.
I'm saying this, and I know probably people don't like hearing what I'm saying, but it's a fact.
Yeah.
And it needs to be, if you want to be the best of the best, then, and you want to play with the best of the best, then, and you're playing against the other guys in this league, and all these guys that are playing right now are great. Mm-hmm. The team that ends up in the playoffs in the World Series is a team that plays best together, the best chemistry. And that chemistry starts with you guys, going out to eat together and on the road and talking to each other in the clubhouse and hanging out with each other. And, that's how you win ball games.
Yeah.
Because everybody at that level can play.
Yeah. The Phillies, in the late 2000s when they won the World Series, like that run they
They're
had
a
from
family.
07 to 12, 13. Right. They were a family. That core, that there was so much chemistry.
Oh, yeah.
Utley and Rollins knew.
The Utley and
each other.
Rollins combo, man, you just watch them every day with their handshake. I mean, I know the handshake doesn't always matter, but they just look like they
were all
knew,
like they knew where the other one was going to be at any given time. Like that, and you don't get that long kind of run if you don't have that.
I'm telling you, look at the A's when they had that run for so long. Same people there. These guys are all like, if you're playing, the longer you play together, if you start breaking teams up and bringing new guys in and doing that thing, you got to get a chance to get the chemistry set.
Yeah,
Steve,
that's what's wrong with the Sixers. That's what's wrong with the Sixers.
We talked about it with the Phillies. It's each year they don't have the farm system. It ends up being hired mercenaries, and this is why they're on a 10-year drought. Is because they bring in people over and over again, but they never have the continuity.
Yeah, well, it's about having confidence in your organization. I think the Philly organization, I probably the best out of them all as far as when I was coming through. They used us. When we came up, I got the opportunity to play, and that's what they did. And so I don't know. I don't get involved in all that now. And I don't know what you're saying. They're bringing people in or whatever. But, I'll tell you right now, it's a foundation. We learned they called us the Fighting Phils for a reason. I can remember in Spartanburg, South Carolina, playing the Yankees, and these guys were monsters. I was 21. And these guys were monsters. This is my first year, and we got into a fight with them. And they taught us how to do that, too. Yeah. It's like you're supposed to go out there and grab a guy from the other team and break this thing up. And, we had guys from Venezuela and Panama and Dominican. And we got one of my guys got hit twice. And the second time he rushed the mound the first time. The second time made him promise that he wouldn't rush the mound. And he took one step out and turned around and center points the catcher.
That's awesome. Actually, Steve, a quick question. I don't mean to cut you.
No, you're good.
But a quick question since we're on that topic. Last night, Bryce Harper gets popped with a pitch. Didn't look intentional or whatever, but you put our best player out most likely for the season. Should there be a retaliation today?
No, you don't. You're not doing that. I don't. There's no room in the game for that retaliation thing. You go out there and play the game hard and go out and win. That's enough retaliation. That's what I say.
I agree.
And I don't think they did. No pitcher's going out there trying to hurt somebody on purpose. That's not going to happen.
Right. And Snell immediately. You can Snell when he threw it. He's like,
oh God,
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
There's no room in the game for that. And I'm not going to say there is and listen to kids listening and think that's the way you do that. Yeah. We go out there and we say a prayer before the game and hope everybody comes out safe and uninjured and we play, go hard and have a good time. And, after that, we just let it be what it is. And that's kind of what we're at.
So we were talking about cutoffs earlier, and it sparked something because it came up last week or a week before in a broadcast I was watching. It wasn't a Phillies game; it was another game, and they were talking about the cutoff guy going out. The shortstop went out, and they were. And maybe I'm wrong here, but the fundamentals. The guy, the shortstop, his back was to the catcher, waiting for the ball to come, and the announcer, whoever it was like, "That's not how you should." He should be kind of side, kind of more towards the side, so that when he gets that ball, he's already positioned to throw it home or throw it to third or wherever he's throwing it.
Well, yeah. I mean, it depends on where the ball was hit. If it's hit directly to the center fielder,
it was like left center. So
it's a gap.
It was like left center.
So yeah. So you're going out. You're the lead guy. You got your second baseman is a double relay is what we call it. So the second baseman, in case the ball is high, if I have to jump for it, I let it go.
Yeah.
Okay, because my second baseman's going to catch it.
Right.
If it's going to short hop me, I let it go because he's going to get a good hop by double relay. Okay, the first baseman's following the guy that hit the ball around, making sure he touches first base, and then follow him into second. So he's going to be on second base. He's going to be covering second. As far as getting ready to catch the ball, you got to wait until you see the flight of the ball. So being parallel or perpendicular with the outfielder and his shoulders not, you can do that until you see the flight of the ball.
Okay.
And then you position yourself to where you're going to catch the ball moving toward home plate.
Yeah.
So you catch it on the side, like he said, and then come up and let it go and get rid of it. You don't, no steps. When you catch the ball, you're catching it. You're making your step when you're catching it, and you're letting it go when you right away.
Yeah.
It's that glove hand transfer. But again, that's one of those things where I don't know. They don't even do infield anymore, but in spring training, I'm sure they work on it. But it's all those little things that matter. When I see guys catch fly balls and they catch them all nonchalant, and it's like
two hands, hot shot.
Catch it. Well, how about we do this like there's a man on base every time? So when there is a man on base, it's not new to you. It's not. It's got to be automatic. You're getting behind the ball. You're getting ready to be coming forward. When you catch it over your throwing shoulder, and come back and throw it. You let the ball go. Don't catch it drifting away. Catch it coming, get around the ball, get behind it, and catch it coming in. Even on a routine fly ball, you might have a guy tagging up. If you get used to doing that and coming in, you might just be tossing in, nobody on, but get used to doing it.
You know the great part about it? So Steve's explaining his feet. His feet are tapping. He's tapping his feet. He's like ready to. He wants. He wants to get out there.
Well, it's just how I teach kids, and that God bless me to be a teacher. Thank God for that. Thank you. But I picked up every little bitty thing. Hell, I was even in the training room. I taped up Smitty's ankle before I think Pete's, or I can't remember who guys that were in there, but there were so many guys in there then. I mean, I'm talking Pete Rose, Joe Morgan, Mike Schmidt, Gary Maddox, Matthews, Tug McGraw, Jerry Kuzman. I mean, I go on and on. These guys, I was 24. These guys are hurting. They've been playing for a while.
Yeah.
I never seen so many ice packs in my life. I mean, ice packs. Everybody Mike had 5 or 6 on him every night, and on both knees and his elbow and his shoulder. And I mean, guys have ice packs, and I learned ice is the best friend you can have because we got to be ready to play tomorrow. So that works. You stop the information now,
that's got to be such a grind, man. 162.
Oh,
games.
I'm telling you now.
I
I say I play 8.5 years, and I started to feel my knees a little bit now.
Yeah.
But and I get gel injection shots in them like once every year or two, and that helps. It just cushions the knee. I don't like the cortisone, all that other stuff because it damages cartilage. But if you do it too much, I guess my orthopedic surgeon just told me. But at the end of the day, these guys, when we talk about these guys being playing for 20 years. And these guys, man, I just want to let you guys know these guys that played for that long, they gave it all to the game. I mean, I tip my hat to every last one of them.
Yeah, there's one that's going around now, and I think I agree. He's not getting the recognition I think he deserves. Albert Pujols is playing his last season, and you don't hear about it any. I mean, I think 18 years.
Yeah, I don't think the average person knows what that grind is all about. But you go to spring training in February, you start working out right after New Year's.
Yeah,
and so you go New Year's, and then if you're in the postseason, you're in October. So this is like you get a month off, and you're back at it, and you got to get your body ready to play.
Yeah,
and so it's tough. It's a grind.
Yeah.
It's a grind.
Yeah.
And again, if you're a catcher, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's tough. If you're an infielder, like I'm on the ground all the time diving, and got guys coming in taking my left leg out all day long, and you just you learn how to do it and you deal with it.
What are your thoughts about the? Because we talked. I know in the past, I learned a little bit today about today's game and how it's changed, but it's become kind of a hot topic with catchers, with the whole one leg philosophy behind the plate, and you're seeing a lot more pass balls. You're seeing instead of the crowd, the crouch that we're used to seeing, but it's probably saving these guys' knees. So like, it's kind of a double-edged sword because these players, they're in the game to play for a long time. They're hoping to, but I think it's hurting the team as well. So like, I don't know, statistically, I mean the numbers show there's more wild pitches now than there has been in the past because of
They're also throwing a lot harder too.
They are throwing
harder.
They are throwing harder.
I would say I don't know if they're all throwing harder. I can start bringing up names for you that throw hard.
Yeah.
Roger Clemens, Randy Johnson, Nolan Ryan, J.R. Richards. I can go on and on with names that throw hard. But I'll say control is the issue at this point.
Sure.
Yeah. Control is the issue at this point because I'm telling you, these guys used to pitch on the corners of the plate back when I was playing. And I mean, you get one good pitch to hit in the bat, you better hit it. Don't foul it off because these guys were good. And then you got Negro throwing you got these niggas.
Yeah.
I faced Negro brothers right here. Phil, Joe, I don't remember. But anyway, Phil. Yeah, so I faced him and I'm standing. These guys, I mean, I'll never forget Pete and Joe laughing at me. But I'm standing there and I'm just hitting right-handed at the time. And he throws me a knuckleball, and I see the seams. This ball did not spin, not one little bitty. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna crush this ball. And I see this ball coming, and I go to swing at it, about hit me in my head. I ended up on the ground, and I'm swinging, and I'm laying on my back, and I'm like, oh my god. And I remember Pete and Joe and them say, yeah, welcome to the big league, Rook. And there's a reason why that catcher's got a glove that looks like a frying pan. It's like, there's a whole big difference about that nowadays, pitching and throwing and I mean longevity. I mean, I just heard it. I didn't see it, but I heard that there was a kid that had a no-hitter and he came out in the 6th inning or something.
Yep.
It happened quite a few times this year. So
it happened yesterday.
That's right. In the Yankees game.
Yeah, the Yankees game. The kid from the kid from the Houston Astros went 7. He no-hit baseball. He had 1 walk. He had 115 pitches, but I don't care. He's throwing.
You know what? Let me
I don't care.
you,
He's throwing a no-hitter. I'm putting him back out there.
Let me tell you that there's a problem with that. I'll tell you what. Just picture this. Picture Nolan Ryan or Randy Johnson have a no-hitter, and you go out there. I'm not the one going. Don't go out there on that mound and try to take him out of the game.
Bob Gibson or Carlton.
Oh, yes. Or Lefty. Yes.
Sit down, manager. I'm not coming out of this game. Sit down.
I'm not doing it. And at the end of the day, I'll tell you what the difference is as many years like Nolan pitched for 20, and he threw hard the whole time. Mm-hmm. You watch the work ethic. You watch how much Nolan's legs were huge. And I mean, he knows how to pitch and he's using his body. That pitch count thing they got going on is if you're throwing with your arm, you can only throw so many pitches. If you're throwing with your body, and if I got a no-hitter going, I don't care how many pitches. I got to leave me alone.
Right.
I want to finish this game.
Yeah.
And if you're doing the right thing with your body and you're preparing yourself to play a 162 game schedule or have 20 or 30 starts or whatever, if you prepare your body for that, and I'm not saying these guys don't work hard. I'm not trying to say that, but prepare your body for the longevity of it because that's the only way we knew it back in my day. We didn't have this pitch count thing going on.
It comes back to the analytic thing. The Phillies had an issue earlier in the year where they wouldn't let a relief pitcher pitch 3 days in a row, and it probably cost them a few games.
Sure.
You don't have a pitcher throw 100 so pitches this early in the season. But what do you mean?
You're supposed to be ready after spring training.
Right,
well, there was some earlier that the closer wasn't available for back-to-back games or something. Yeah,
How many innings did he go the game before?
One. And it was and the answer was this Joe Girardi, who's no longer here. It was I need him in October. Meanwhile, you're 10 games under 500. It's like, what are you worried about October for?
You got to get to October
and
first.
I think it was the next week he was fired.
Right.
Right after
Way too analytical.
I understand, there's analytics. I'm not one. I got to get my kids to show me how to open my phone sometime. You go to the youngsters, they got that. I don't do that. I told you guys, I hear people talking about batting averages and da-da-da, and I say that's the most overrated number in baseball. Because if you're worried about your batting average and you got a man on second base with nobody out, you're not willing to sacrifice yourself and hit a ground ball to the right side to get him to third. You know, I mean, these are the things that I think is lost in the game now. You know, a little somewhat. You know, all the guys, Larry Boa. I saw him at the Darren Daulton Foundation golf tournament a couple years ago, and he came up to me. He was kind of wound up. He said, "This guy came over to me." No, it was last year, matter of fact, when we were celebrity bartending. And he said, "This guy came up to me, and he was all wound up." And he said, "They ought to throw that. They shouldn't allow that shift in baseball. They need to throw that thing out of the game. We can't have that." And he said. He told Bo, he looked at Bo and he said, "What would you do if they did that to you?" And Bo looked at him and said, "Hit the ball the other way."
Hit the other way.
You know what? Well, this is Major League Baseball. You can't handle the bat.
That's
If
what
they
I
put
like.
everybody on one side of the infield. I don't care what you're talking about. This guy's a home run hitter. If everybody's on that side of the infield, that's nonsensical to try and hit the ball over there. This is Major League Baseball, and every guy behind you can drive you in. So get on base. And that's my thought. But the analytics say no because he's a home run hitter. Well, if
you pay him $300 million.
I don't care.
Yeah, I know.
If you hit 40 home runs in a year and you got a 162 game schedule, number one, you don't win a game every time you hit a home run. So say you did win a game every time you hit a home run. So that's 40 games. So we're 40 and 122. That's what we're looking for here.
Yeah,
no, we're playing the game.
It's interesting to say because like that was the argument against Ryan. And I loved Ryan Howard. I mean, he was phenomenal. The 5-6 year stretch he had was one of the most fascinating we've ever seen in baseball, at least in our generation.
Absolutely.
But it drove me nuts. He had the shift. He could not hit the ball opposite way.
Like, how did he not work on it in the offseason?
Bunt the opposite way. Well, you don't pay him $30 million a year to bunt the opposite way. But now Bryce Harper's doing it. Bryce Harper has no problem splashing it the other way.
Yeah,
he has no problem.
Yeah, that's
no
right.
problem.
Yes, that's the game.
That's why Bryce Harper's the best hitter in baseball right now.
Was.
And you open up that side when they see you go the other way a couple times, they're not letting you get on base.
Exactly. Then all of a sudden
they're going to move back over.
Let's not do the shift. He's spitting the ball the other direction.
That's it.
Like
but I mean, there's an argument there with it, but it's never going to get through to me because I'm like Boa. Boy, you know, if you put everybody on one side of the field and you can't hit the ball the other way, then you better go learn how if you want to play for me, because it's just one of those things where we got to open this up. And I have confidence in the rest of my teammates to come out here and drive you in. You bunt the ball down the left field line with everybody over there, it's a double.
Right.
Yeah,
that's a run. Are we trying to win or what?
Kyle Schwarber did it, I don't know, last week or something.
Yep.
The whole left side of the infield was
double.
Yep.
Double.
It's a lost art. It's a lost
Well,
art.
it needs to be. That's what
Small
needs
ball.
to come back. And I tell you,
Yeah, we heard you earlier talking about dude, small ball, absolutely.
Well, if you
Whatever it takes to win.
Yeah, whatever it takes to win. And if you do the small things and play this game the way it was meant to be played, then you'll win more ball games than you lose. I promise you. You know, if you get back to that, the rest of the league isn't doing it. If you start doing that,
it'll be a copycat league.
Oh, you know what? Right now, I'm telling you, you'll win another 30% of ball games. I guarantee you, if you just do that. Games where you leave a guy on second base inning after inning after inning when it was a leadoff double. How do you do that? That's not part of the game. When I was playing, it was like everybody looking at you when you came back in. If you didn't get that job done, everybody's like, "Come on, man, dang, let's we got to get this guy to third."
Yeah.
And now the guy on second's got to think about, hey, maybe I can steal his bag or something.
Right.
You know, but you got it. That's part of the game, and you can't. If you keep that part of the game solid, you're gonna be in the playoffs with this wild card now. Because when I played, we didn't have wild card. Either you won the league or you didn't.
It was division or bust.
That's
Right? Literally division or
That's
bust.
right. We were in second place behind the Mets, and we had the only winning record against the Mets. And they came in to play us 4 straight. And Tug McGraw, I saw him at the chart house. We were eating, and he was reporting then. He was a reporter then. He came over to me and said, "Jeltz, you got the Mets coming in." He said, "You know, if they beat you 1, they're celebrating." And I looked at him. I said, "They're not celebrating in Philadelphia. You know, I'm a Philly guy. It's like, you know, the Mets can't come here and celebrate." Well, you plastic off all the lockers before the game because there's a chance that you celebrate and you're spraying. And so they plastic. I said, we're going to sweep them. I said, they're not beating us here. We're going to beat them. And so Tug said, "Would you say that on camera?" I said, "Come on down there tomorrow." So I said it the first day, no reporters at all around it. And I said it the first day, and Tug airs it, and we end up winning that game. And then the second day, there's a couple more reporters there, and I say it again because he keeps bringing it up.
Yeah.
And then the third day, we won 2 in a row. Now the third day, I got a few more reporters in there, and then we beat them that third game. And then the next day, before that fourth game, all the Philadelphia reporters were standing in front of my locker. So you really think we're going to win this game? And I think Video Dan, thank you, Video Dan, for everything you do. Video Dan made a highlight film for me after I threw out the first pitch at the end of the 2019 season. And he made a highlight film for me. At the end of that highlight film, you see me dive. Kent Colby was pitching, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th inning. Tying run on second base. We're up 1, I think it was. And Kent's pitching, Teek's pitching, Mookie Wilson's hitting. And he called, and Darren calls, or I think it was Darren called for a fastball away. It might have been, I can't remember who it was. But anyway, called for a fastball away. And, Teek's submarine, and that ball is going to tail. And Mookie's good for hitting that ball in that hole. So just before that pitch, I take a hop step to my right. Now, if Teek doesn't hit that ball, it hit his spot, which he was doing. And when he missed away. I took a hop step to my right, and I landed. And soon I landed, Mookie hits a smoking line drive in the hole, and I dive and catch it and come up, and I did like that. And that was the final out of that 4-game sweep.
That's
and
awesome.
then they went to St. Louis, and they end up clinching and winning. But I mean,
They weren't doing it in Philly.
They didn't do it in Philly, and we had the only winning record against them. Now that year was a year when I started talking about that would have been a year that we got to go to the playoffs or do the wild card thing.
Yeah, there was.
But we didn't have that.
Like early 2000s, the Phillies weren't very good. But if it was this playoff format from, I think it's 2002 to 2016, the Phillies would have made the playoffs.
Yeah, it's a
That's
big difference. Now.
crazy.
That's why when people ask me what I think about it, and I don't know, I truly believe it. I say, if we had this format when I was playing, we would have been in the playoffs a lot more.
A few times,
a few times. And nowadays, with the way the game is being played, what we've been talking about right now, if I was running this thing and I knew what was going on, I'd be in the playoffs every year because we're going to win enough games to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So you never thought about getting into coaching?
Oh, I thought about it, but I want to make a difference.
Yeah.
And so I've always said, I've been coaching for years. I've been every team that I've helped. I go into that Royals thing where they hadn't been to the World Series in 30 years, and I wrote a 3-page analyzation when I was Royals alumni to Jeff Montgomery. And the next day they announced George Brett as a hitting instructor. And George, if you know George is one of the best third basemen ever played the game, just like Smitty. But he's not a coach. George is not going to be that the one doing. I'm watching the TV the next day in the 3-page analysis. I talk about small ball chemistry. If you remember when the Royals went to the World Series, they were talking about small ball. Now all this is documented. You look at the email that I sent to Jeff Montgomery, and he sent it over to George Brett. I can call him Sweet Lou, but anyway, we sent it over to George, and he was in the clubhouse, or he was on TV the next day, verbatim reading what I was watching. I'm looking at it, well, okay. If it works, it works. They went to the World Series after 30 years, 2 years in a row. You see what I'm saying? And people were talking about small ball, and they talked about it. Well, they did it, and then I left and came back here. But I'm looking, I'm thinking, well, it works.
Why did you stop?
Why you stop doing it? It's what works. I'm telling you, it works. I have never had a losing season with any team that I've been involved with. So somebody asked me like you asked, how come you don't coach? I said, at that level, they had to create a position for me. I mean, it's like I'm not a manager. I don't, I can't do all that. I'm not trying to do all that. I deal with the kids on the field and teach you how to play the game because I played them all. But I would be an assistant to. I can't be a general manager, but I can be an assistant to a general manager where I can go down to the clubhouse and get there and have power to be able to say, look, this is what you need to be doing. I saw this last night and have these one-on-one talks with these kids and tell them we're young men. I call them kids because I'm 63, but, go down there and talk to them and say, hey, this was the same talks that Mike Schmidt had with me and Gary Maddox had with me and Sarge had with me, those talks. This is what you need to be doing. This is how you're going to win this ball game. You need to start thinking about it like this. And then go back up to the front office and say, hey, here's
if you don't do it, here's
what we need to do, and here's how we need to handle this. And, you need to do this and that, and look at the minor league guys. They're doing a phenomenal job. Rob Holiday's doing a phenomenal job with it all. But that's kind of my thought on how it needs to happen, and this is what you need to do. And, but I don't, I got to be a manager job in the big leagues pretty much is chemistry in the locker room. That's how I feel about it. And I might not be you put a lineup card out. Everybody knows what they're going to do. All you guys that sit on the bench, they got to play one spot start once a week. Your catcher needs a day off, and you need to get your other catchers some time playing in there. Get to know the pitchers. So when somebody does go down, you're not missing anything, or you do need that guy that's sitting on the bench to come in and face the closers of the league, the best pitchers in the league. I mean, the ones that are trying to shut this game down. You want them to come off the bench and they haven't played in 3 days or a week because they've been there, and then you want them to step in there in a crucial situation and get a base hit. You're asking the impossible, nearly the impossible. You got to give these guys start playing time. And you have that chemistry going, so everybody's happy. Everybody knows, hey, I'm starting tomorrow, and I got to be ready in the 6th inning on, because I might have to do double switches and do this and that or whatever we need to do. That's what you need to do to win ball games. I say, you have to have everybody sharp, and you have to give them all playing time, and everybody's happy then. And once you got that chemistry going as a manager, you put a lineup card out and go sit down.
Yeah.
You don't go out there and try to overmanage it, because Pete Rose, when we were doing a hit and run, when I first got there, Pat Corrales, Dallas Green, they didn't call hit and run. We were hitting and run all the time, but that was between the hitter and the base runner.
Yeah.
And we had signs, and we knew we were getting ready to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And we did it, and the manager didn't call that. You're getting signs from the third base coach, but that didn't mean nothing back when I first came in, because these guys that are Hall of Famers are saying I'm hitting and running right now, so get ready.
Right.
And that we had a feel for the game, so we played the game. And so, like I said, going back to the manager, put his lineup card out there and allow these guys the ability to play the game.
Yeah.
And see what they know and what they don't know. And if they don't know, teach them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what your job is. And other than that, you can't blame the manager for not winning and losing ball games. Because as soon as they got rid of Jardy, started winning. Well, that's the same damn team. They won 10 in a row. What's the problem?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you just woke some people up.
Right.
They went,
exactly.
That's what's going on.
Yeah.
And the organization has a responsibility of shaking some things up, because the manager wasn't shaking it up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you shake it up, and you we'll get him out of here, and everybody will see we're not playing. We're trying to win ball games.
Right.
And that's what you do. But I mean, it's kind of a, I don't want to, they're probably mad at me now because I talk too much, but I'm just saying, I'm calling it like I see it. And if there's a former Philadelphia Philly, and as a Philly fan that had I say this area right here is the best baseball fans in the history of this game. I promise you, I love playing here.
Nice.
And even when they were all over me, I loved it still, because my dad was Command Sergeant Major and was all over me. So I'm good with that. But I say what I say because I believe it. And that's how I played the game and what I know. So
yeah,
that's awesome.
That's all we want in Philly. With
Honest.
all of our athletes. Just
Play hard.
Give it your all. And if you make a mistake, go out and fix it. Just own up to it.
Own up to it.
We just want to see you put out
100%.
all the effort that you can. That's all.
110%.
Yep.
I mean, I don't see how it's even possible you get 4 at-bats during the course of a ball game, and you hit a fly ball I've seen it so many times. You've seen it. Guy hits a ball in the outfield. Oh, I don't know if the wind caught it in candlestick, or if the sun got in the guy's eyes and he messes it up, and the guy that was running to first base is carrying his bat down the first baseline.
Yep.
And then he catches the ball, he misses the ball, and he picks it up, and he gets caught on first base.
Mhm.
Man, you ought to be
How are
trying to
you
get a
not
triple
on-
out of
Yeah.
that. Definitely a double. But, I mean, if you can't run hard 4 times during the course of a 9-inning ball game, then something's wrong. And I don't care if you hit a ground ball to the middle infielder, or you hit it. You run hard. You
bobble it, bad throw at first base.
If they know you're going to do that, like I knew that when I went to St. Louis, or I knew that when Wally Backman, Lenny Dykstra, because St. Louis has rabbits. And when I'm playing, I play a completely different shortstop. I'm moving to the hole a little bit, and I'm in a little bit. I need time, and I'm going to make my play, and I can't afford to bobble it, because if I bobble it, they're safe. Well, if everybody knows that about your team, these guys go hard 100%. You force errors without just because you hustle.
Just by playing hard.
That's
Just by
right.
playing hard,
And that's the difference. And I see it. I mean,
You got one in the hole.
I don't want.
He's busting. He's going to bust it down the line. I got to get that, and then boom, you bobble.
Yeah, you bobble it. Yeah, this is you force you force mistakes if you just hustle. Simple as that. If you go hard, and lose the celebration, concentrate on 9 innings of respectful baseball. Respect your opponent. We might get at it and turn double play, and they can't do it now, but they take me out to left field. I shake his hand. Good
Yeah.
job, man. Good job. You know, you got me. And
Yeah.
they're like, hey, you Jeltz. You know, after the game, we sit and talk about it. We're out there, you know, in Chicago, you know, Cubs and Phillies are pretty much the same thing. So, you know, we're trading back and forth back in the day.
Yeah.
So everybody that played there played, well, you know, not everybody, but Ryan Sandberg.
Yeah, there was quite
there,
a
and
few,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like
yeah, Bobby
14
D,
players.
you know, yeah, a lot of guys that played with the
Yeah.
Phillies and Cubs. But, you know, I mean, we get along after the game.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we have our battle during the course of that 9 innings, but when it's over, it's over. And like you say, back in the day, if you were doing something that wasn't respectful, a pitcher will drop you on your tail. You get one under your chin.
Yeah.
And, you know, and that might be a guy that you're hanging out with after the game.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey.
but during that game, all rules are off right now. We're not friends.
Sorry about the sweet chin music, but you know why you got that. Yeah,
What's
I
that?
got it. Yeah, sorry about the chin music. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know why
you know it.
I know.
Yeah, you
I
know.
Yeah.
And you just get up, dust yourself off, and go to playing the doggone game. You know, there's no. I don't understand what happened. I think it's internet. I think it's all the allotment. Dude, they let people just. If I'm managing and I see you do something that's disrespectful to the other team, hit a home run and stand there and watch it for too long, flipping your bat and acting all that, or whatever it is. You know, if I see it, you come over and sit down next to me.
Mhm.
You're
Yeah.
not respecting the game. This isn't what we respect our opponent.
Yeah.
Because you got to remember, you might be the guy on the other end of that.
Yep.
And you're not going to like it when they do it to you.
Right. Put yourself in their
So
shoes.
why would you do it to somebody else? Treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yep.
You know, so that's where I'm at with that.
Steve, what do you think of the DH?
Yeah. I don't like it.
No.
I mean, you know, we're going back to Babe Ruth and back in the days when guys played the game. I didn't know anything about the National League when I came to Philly. I grew up in Kansas City Royals,
Yeah.
American League, DH, but I never played there. But I never knew anything about it. When we grew up playing baseball, pitchers hit. So
Right.
that's what we did. But, you know, I liked the game when I came to the National League. I had to learn how to be a number 8 hitter. I knew nothing about that.
Right.
You know, I learned how to, 2-0 with nobody on and 2 outs, you're taking. You know,
Right.
you're not looking for that one pitch because I did it and hit a line drive at second baseman. And Pete and Joe screamed and hollered at me and said, "What do you think you're doing?" You know, it's like 3-1. You become a good number 8 hitter. Your average hitting going to be very good, but your on base percentage will. And
Right.
you got to get the pitcher out of the way so you're not playing the next inning with 2 outs
Mhm.
or 2 outs and a man on second base. They're not giving you anything to hit.
Yep.
So if you're a selfish ball player, you're like, whatever, I'll take my walk because my batting average. But if you want to drive in the run and do your job, you try to drive in the run. Well, it's hard enough to get base hits on strikes. You
Yep.
start swinging at balls trying to get base hits.
Yeah.
That's tough. So, you know, that's why I go back to that batting average is the most overrated number in the game. I don't play with that. I don't care about that. I'll take kids on my team. If I see they know how to play the game and they're team ball players, I'll take him.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll take him all day because I'll tell you one thing for sure: good pitching will beat good hitting any day of the week. You can be the best hitter in the world, and you got a Cy Young out on the mound.
Yep,
he
Not
gonna
gonna give you
neutralize it.
anything to hit.
That's right.
Yeah, it's a good point. I mean, I know we keep going back to it, but that's why the structure of this Phillies team worried me from the start because they got guys who were home run hitters. Yeah, they were streaky, right, Booch? Home run hitters or bust, and that was it. And that's why, like when we're talking about small ball, I don't think this team's built.
No, they're not.
To do small ball.
Well, you
because
know, I heard somebody say that earlier about I don't think this team's built for that. I think this team, they're major league ball players. They ought to be able to do anything.
You're right.
I think
Yeah.
they can. I think they can. That's up here.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
That
you're
comes-
probably right.
It's about training them, and you know what a blessing to have guys that can hit the ball out of the ballpark.
Yeah,
how much of a blessing is that?
Yeah,
That's
you have five-
fantastic.
you have four or
but
five
you know
of them.
what? We got to play the game other than just that.
Yeah, give me a single.
Yeah, give me a
you
base
score,
hit, give me-
you score 10 runs one game and then get shut out the next game. Well, you're 1-1. Yeah.
you're 1-1. Yeah, you know, either way, you're 1-1. But if you score 5 this game and 4 the next, and it was no home runs, and you're 2-0, you know, that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
But at the end of the day, like I said, they must be smarter than me. They do what they do. But I'll tell you, all the kids and all the people that I work with and the colleges that I go see, I have not, and it's been 35 years, I have never had a losing record. And anybody I've ever helped, and when they start working on these things and they start doing it this way, all of a sudden that light bulb goes off and go, dang, man, this is kind of nice. And I was like, yeah. Huh? I said, before you know it, you're 10-0 and that kind of thing. That's
Yeah.
what I had. I had teams that were won 2 games a year before Legion Ball, and they had good athletes, but they never won a game. I taught them how to play the game.
Yeah.
Before they knew it, they were 10-0. We went to regionals. I mean, I had another one in Kansas City that was freshmen. One of the alumni guys asked me. He had KC Elite, and it was a travel teams, and they had a problem with the coach they had. He was screaming and hollering. The kids weren't having fun. All da. Long story short, I went in. He asked me to come and help. He said, "Man, please, Jeltz, at alumni meeting, just do my 14U team. They're all going to high school next year. So could you come out, man? Just I just need you for that time, and I'll find the coach. But if you can help me," I said. He said, "You don't even have to come to the games, man. Just come to the practice. Just come to the games." I said, whoa. If I'm going to coach them, I'm going to coach them. He said, "Well, you don't have to deal with any parents." I said, "I don't worry about that. If you want me to coach this team, you go handle those other 8 teams you got. Forget about this one. We got this."
Mm-hmm.
We ended up 29-0-1.
Wow.
All my freshman kids made their high school baseball team as freshmen.
Oh, no way. Wow. That's awesome.
Every last one of them.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so, I mean, and to this day, I mean, these kids, that's got
to be the most proud, like one of the more prouder.
I was so proud of them because everybody said, "Man, you did." I said, "I didn't do anything. I coached them." I tell you, the day we were like 10-0, and I had to come back to that 10-0 thing, and that was another team that was 10-0 that we started too. But this one here, they were 10-0, and they were. I just didn't feel it. I said, "You guys are good. And I'm teaching you how to play this game, but you guys, you're going to run across the team. It's going to stomp your butt if you don't start doing this and this and this." And so that day at practice, I said, "You know what?" I said, we're going to do situations today. And today I'm running the bases. You got to throw me out. And so, you want to see these guys get pumped up. And so I'm running bases, and I had a catcher that had a cannon, 14 years old. He's going to be a ball player, right? So I get on first base, and he's all ready to throw me out. And he said, "What I've been telling you, haven't been hearing. You don't steal bases off of any catcher in the league.
You steal it off pitcher.
Yeah, that's right. If you don't get a jump, I don't care who's pitching. If you don't get a jump, you're out. I don't care who's catching." I said, so I'm telling them these things, but they're not really hearing me. So I get on first base, and pitcher doesn't really hold me on too much. I mean, he's gonna quick pitch me or something, but I see him getting his body start to move when he gets ready to throw the ball. I'm gone. And I'm getting a jump. These are kids of 14. Now, I can read them and get a jump easy. So I get a jump, and the catcher tries to hurry it, and he throws the ball, and it bounces out in the center field. And I slide, and I stand up, and I get ready to go to third. Now I'm 45 years old at the time. I slide, and I bounce up, and I'm getting ready to go to third. My center fielder, a little Chris Liggett, he's left-handed, could fly, left-handed center fielder. And I slide and I bounce up and I get ready to go third, and he's right there, center fielder. He come running in because he seen me going, and he said, "Yeah, go ahead, coach. Go ahead, coach." And I started laughing. By the time that practice was over, I was dead dog tired, I might add. By the time that practice was over, you know what I told him? I said, "Now you get it." I said, "If you play this game like you're trying to get me out, like you did today against all your opponents, then you're ready to throw this guy. When the guy's still on second base and my center fielder's on the move, that's what I want to see. Now you get it," and they got it. They didn't lose a ball game the rest of the year.
That's awesome.
And that was the key. But it took me to go out there and run to get them. I couldn't figure out. I've been teaching them, but I couldn't figure out how to get it through to them. And I said, "You know what?" And my wife looked at me and she goes, "You're going to be hurt." And I said, I said, I'll just be hurt for a couple of days. I'll be okay.
Yeah.
So
the hurt's worth the
it was
the
worth
juice
every bit of
juice
it.
worth the squeeze, right?
It was indeed.
But we're gonna close out this podcast. But we're gonna be hanging out here at Nick's for a while. We got the Phillies coming on at 4:00. But before we close it out, Steve, thank you so very much for hanging out and being a part of this today, and we all appreciate it. And so everybody, Nick's Roast Beef, give Steve Jeltz a nice round of applause for hanging out today.
Thank you, guys. Hey guys, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Brett from the Darren Daulton Foundation was on early. Chris, why don't you come back on? Darren Daulton Foundation was on a few minutes ago, a little bit ago. He had to step out, but we want to thank him as well, and the Darren Daulton Foundation as well, everybody. Yeah. And we got Chris here from Drunk Phil's Fans. Thanks for helping putting this all together, man.
Of course, thank you guys.
Michael Lebo.
This is awesome.
Yeah, Mike. Yeah,
Mike Lebo.
Primal Sports Charities.
So
Primal Sports Charities,
and that's going to be up about September. The website will be up and running. You'll be able to sign out. There's our cheers out there.
All right.
I don't know why he's got green beans out there,
why
but
do you have green beans? You can't hear me anyway. But yeah, so that website will be up by September. You're hoping?
Yeah, it should be up and running. We have it coming together. We're building an indoor facility And we're working hard on putting this all together with 4 fields and teaming up with the Cumberland Valley School District. So we're going to have college kids coming in, and they'll be counseling some of the kids in the school. We're opening it all up. They want us to come in. We're going to work this together, kind of a community thing, because that's what these kids need. You know, right now is what they need is there's Michael. Michael, run with it.
Yeah, I was actually just talking with Gary, and Gary and I decided we're going to come to Philadelphia and do the same thing. He said there's all kinds of space out here with the housing authority that buildings are just not being used in the community. So we were talking, my mom works for the Senate, so we'll get in touch with the senators out here and come out and do it in Philly.
That'd be
awesome. Community centers.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
Our Mitch, and you know, when I was growing up, I used to hear it takes a village to raise a child. And that's the absolute truth. And that's what we got to do, you know, because we got a mess. And, you know, these kids need to have something to help them understand who they are. Not just an athlete or whatever they're doing, but hold them accountable for all their actions and show them how to change those actions and what works and what doesn't work. And I mean, it starts at home. All this starts at home. I mean, I remember guys used to saying we're role models in Philly, and we're role models. Somebody came to me and asked me who my role model was. Who's your role model, Steve? I said my dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
You know, so and not all kids have that. So that's what we're trying to do now.
Yeah.
Build that place for them to come and, I don't know, enjoy and just learn and figure out what to do with life.
Yeah.
Right? That's great. Yeah. So it's definitely we're going to come here to Philly and do it here too.
Be awesome.
Yeah. Steve was literally on the truck ride down. He's like, man, we got to be out here in Philly doing this. Like,
yep, on the way
such
down.
a better opportunity. You can impact more lives and help more people out here. So it's all about. So,
well, of course, you know, if there's any way that, you know, Chris or I can help you guys get word out, just let me know. You know, reach out. You know, you'll have my number. You have my number. So yeah, we'll make that happen for sure.
Thank you guys, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
Hey,
thank you guys.
I gotta say thank you to all you guys, Philly fans alike, everybody. I love you. You know what? I learned. I had no idea. Understand? I grew up working on dairy farm and hunting and fishing, and I got a chance to play ball in college, and then signed with the Phillies. And the Phillies, that was when the Pittsburgh Pirates had "We Are Family." So you seen that, and I'm thinking, I didn't know who the Phillies were. Sheltered. I'm just sheltered.
Yeah.
You know, I'm out in the country in Kansas. You know? So they say, well, my mom and dad were watching the draft, and my aunts were there, and everybody was there, and I was down at the community building playing basketball, right? So I come in, and they're all, "You're a Philly, you're a Philly," and I was like, "What?
I'm a female horse." What?
Yeah. I'm looking at them like, what? And they said, "You just got the Phillies are signing you." They're gonna say, I didn't even know. I was like, okay, and I was thinking of going to law school and all that, and then, I was debating that, and I was
wow.
Well, and then all of a sudden, bam, and I had no idea what. I was in the Midwest, right? I'd never been here. Yeah. So I came out here, and the way I grew up, my father, like I said, Command Sergeant Major, and my mom, she was supervisor of missions and records at KU for 27 years. They didn't put up with any nonsense. It was zero tolerance at all. There's no excuse for anything. Get it done. And so when I came out here, everybody was saying, "Man, it's hard to play in Philly, boy." I thought to myself, "What do you mean? It's hard to play in Philly?" I was like, and then they kind of enlightened me to what that was, and then I got to see what that was, and I was like, well, so my dad was in the stands all the time, and there wasn't no room for me slacking off at all. So that's kind of what you people are. Everybody out here, I love it. I was like, well, you need to demand that same performance to this day. And don't let anything else change that. That's why Philadelphia stands above them all. That's why I love it. So I love you guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Y'all do a great show.
Thank you. So Chris, before we go, once again, Drunk Phils fans, we're hanging out. We're gonna watch the Phillies and Padres at 4:00 here at Nick's. Once again, tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, so we're on Facebook, Drunk Phils Fans. Same with Twitter and Instagram at Drunk Phils Fans. And today we're also, just so everyone knows, we're going to be selling tickets. It's $5 for a single ticket, $3 for $10, and $8 for $20. We have a table up front with some items that were donated by either Corner Pub Sports, Philly Sports Trips, who actually donated front row seats to the July 7th Phils game, some things from Drunk Phils Fans, and some items donated from Darren Daulton Foundation. So signed items by Darren himself. We have a ball from Scott Air, John Kruk, items up there as well. So
Daulton autograph items.
yeah, Daulton as well.
Beautiful,
And,
beautiful
Steve,
Charlie.
Steve Jeltz autographed.
Yeah, we got Steve Jeltz autographs. Yep,
so,
absolutely.
you know,
and that picture, that Charlie Manuel picture is beautiful.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be worth it, as well as 50/50s. And then again, 100% of the profits are going directly to Darren Daulton Foundation. So it's 100%.
There you go.
Oh my God.
Thank you, Chris.
Relentless.
Thank you, man.
From
Never
day
get the
one,
end of it. Yeah.
from minute one, he's been on.
Yeah, he has been on you.
He's been on me.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Thank you, Steve. And thank you, Nick's Roast Beef, for having us. We are Corner Pub Sports. We'll see you guys every Friday night next week. See you.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. My pleasure.